Hi friends, welcome to our YouTube channel Knowledge Academy. The main aim of this lecture is to discuss about the TS SPDCL JE 2018 W solutions in a very detailed manner. And if you like the content of our channel, then please do like, share and subscribe our YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon button. So whenever we upload a new video, direct notification comes to mobile. If any improvements in our lectures, then please do comment in the comment section. We will definitely include all those improvements in the coming lectures. So why to waste more time? So let's get started. So now in this question, this is the first question that we are going to solve. What is the maximum value of the f of x comma y is equal to 3xy subject to the constraint 2x plus y is equal to 8? So in this question they are asking basically what is the maximum value of the function f of x comma y is equal to 3xy is a function of two variables x and y. The constraint is straight line, just 2x plus y is equal to 8. So x and y is going to satisfy this equation. Then at what is the maximum value of this function we need to figure out. So there are four options. Option B, 24 is the correct solution of this question. So let's solve this numerical. So this is the solution of this question, which is f of x comma y is equal to 3xy. This is the function they have given, and the equation of the constant of the straight line, which is 2x plus y is equal to 8. So now you can see clearly this is f of x comma y is a function of two variables x and y. Here 2x plus y is equal to 8. So I want to write the y is equal to 8 minus 2x. So now what I want to do basically is here, instead of these two variables, I want to make a function of only one variable. So I am replacing y by 8 minus 2x. So therefore, this is f of x comma y is equal to 3x into, in place of y, I have written 8 minus 2x. So if we do the multiplication, then we are going to get 24x minus 6x squared. As you can see clearly, it is a function of only one variable x. So I can write this whole thing is as g of x, or simply we can say that as is f of x y is a function of only one variable x, so I can write this as g of x also. So this is the new function g of x. It's a function of x which is 24x minus 6x square. So now basically, so this is the new function g of x is equal to 24x minus 6x square. So this is the function. So now I want to find what is the at what value of x this function I am going to get a maximum value. This we can easily find with the help of differentiation. So the first differentiation of g of x is 24 minus 12x, and the second derivative of g of x is minus 12. So if you want to find what is the stationary point or the singular point, then you have to equate the first derivative is equal to 0. So you have to equate the first derivative of g of x is equal to 0 to find the singular point or the stationary point. So g dash of x is equal to 24 minus 12x is equal to 0. So if we equate this equal to 0, so 24 is equal to 12x, so x is equal to 2. So 24 by 2 is nothing but 2. So at x is equal to 2, you are going to get a peak value. Whether it is a positive peak or negative peak, we need to figure out whether it is a minimum or maximum. But we have to confirm whether at this x is equal to 2, you may be either getting a minimum value or maximum value. But you need to sure either this at value of x is equal to, you are going to get a maximum or minimum. Then the condition is here at x is equal to g double dash of x is equal to minus 12, which is irrespective of x. So therefore we can say it is less than 0. So whenever the double derivative at a particular point less than 0, we can say that at that point we are going to get a maximum value. If it is greater than 0 means we are going to get a minimum value. But in this case we are going to get less than 0. So at x is equal to 2, you are going to get a maximum value. So at x is equal to g of x as maximum value, or simply we can say that it means that g of x is nothing but f of x comma y. So means f of x comma y is also having the maximum value at x is equal to 2. But what is the value of y? Y is equal to 8 minus 2x. But x value we know which is 2. If you substitute here, we are going to get which is 8 minus 2 into 2, which is 8 minus 4 is equal to 4. So what is the value of x comma y, which is 2 comma 4? At this point we are going to get a maximum value. Then we have to find what is that maximum value. So you have to replace this. So you have to substitute these values in the function to get the maximum value. So at this point f of x comma y has the maximum value. So therefore the maximum value is equal to f of 2 comma 4, which is 3 into 3xy, which is 3 into 2 into 4, which is 24. So we can say, or simply I have already told you g of x function. So we already know g of x function, which is equal to, simply I have already told you, which is g of x is equal to 24x minus 6x square. You can substitute x is equal to 2 also in that function g of x. Directly you are going to get the same result 24. Either you substitute x comma y in f of x comma y, or g of x is equal to 24x minus 6x square. In place of x, substitute x is equal to 2. So you are going to get the same solution 24, either by f of x comma y or g of x. So same result you are going to get. So finally I can say that at x comma y 2 comma 4, At this point, f of x comma y is having the maximum value, and that maximum value is just substitute x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 4 in the 3xy. We are going to get 24. So 24 is the correct solution of this question. So now we are going to solve the other question, which is the see the question here. The sum of eigenvalues of the matrix. So this is the matrix they have given. So we have to find what is the sum of the eigenvalues of the matrix, which is the matrix is 1 0 4 0 4 0 3 5 minus 3 is. So for this matrix we have to find what is the sum of the eigenvalues. So out of the four options, option D 2 is the correct solution of this question. So let's solve this numerical. So this is the matrix they have given, 1 0 4 0 4 0 and 3 5 minus 3. Then so what is the sum of the eigenvalues we need to figure out. See, sum of eigenvalues is nothing but it is also called as the trace. I have already told you the sum of eigenvalues is nothing but trace. Trace of a matrix. The sum of eigenvalues is equal to trace of the matrix, which is trace means just blindly you have to add all the diagonal elements. So whatever the elements in the diagonal, the principal diagonal, we have to add all those each element, which is 1 plus 4 plus minus 3, which is nothing but 5 minus 3 is equal to 2. So sum of eigenvalues is equal to 2. So 2 is the correct solution of this question. Or the another principle is, if you want to know what is the product of eigenvalues, it is equal to determinant of this matrix. I already told all these things in the mathematics course only. So therefore, sum of eigenvalues is equal to trace of the matrix, and the product of eigenvalues is equal to determinant of this matrix. So in this question they are asking about the sum of eigenvalues. Just to the trace, which is sum of the diagonal elements. We are going to get 2 is the correct solution of this question. Now we are going to solve another question. See the question here. If A is a square matrix of order 3, with its characteristic equation x cube minus 2x square minus x plus 2 is equal to 0, then its determinant is. So in this question they are given A is a square matrix of order 3. Then with its characteristic equation is x cube minus 2x square minus x plus 2 is equal to 0. Then its determinant is. So what is the determinant of this matrix we need to figure out. So out of the four options, option C minus 2 is the correct solution of this question. So let's solve this numerical. So this is the solution of this question. See the question here. X cube minus 2x square minus x plus 2 is equal to 0. So this is a characteristic equation of a matrix of third order, or we can say 3 by 3 matrix of order of 3. Then see, I will see this is the characteristic equation, or we can say it is a polynomial equation. So I want to know what is the sum of the roots. Let me assume for third order definitely an equation of degree 3, it will have 3 roots. Then now the sum of the roots x1 plus x2 plus x3 is equal to minus 1 over to the power of 1 into, just you have to take the coefficient of the x to the power of 3 minus 1 by coefficient of x cube. Therefore coefficient of x to the power of 3 minus 1 is nothing but x square. The coefficient is minus 2, so minus 2 by 1. So if you solve this one, we are going to get plus 2. Similarly, the product, or we can say the sum of product of two roots is nothing but x1 x2 plus x2 x3 plus x3 x1 is equal to minus 1 over to the power of, so you are taking 2 roots here, so therefore square into the coefficient of x to the power of 3 minus 2 by coefficient of x cube. So 3 minus 2 is nothing but 1, so coefficient of x to the power of 1 is nothing but minus 1, so minus 1 by 1 is equal to, here if you solve this one, minus 1 whole square is 1, 1 into minus 1 is nothing but minus 1, so you are going to get minus 1. The last one is x1 x2 x3, so you are taking 3 roots, so minus 1 over the power of, how many roots you are taking? 3, so minus 1 whole cube into the coefficient of x to the power of 3 minus 3 is nothing but x to the power of 0, the coefficient of x to the power of 0 is 2 by coefficient of x to the power of 3 is nothing but 1, so you are going to get minus 2, so you are going to get here minus 2. So this is a general formula that you always have to remember. So we can say x1 x2 x is nothing but the product of the roots. The product of the roots is nothing but, see, these are roots are called as the eigenvalues. For a characteristic equation, the roots are nothing but eigenvalues. The product of eigenvalues is nothing but determinant of the matrix. So therefore the determinant of the matrix is equal to product of the eigenvalues. So you can say clearly the product of the eigenvalues is equal to minus 2. So therefore x1 into x2 is x2 into x3 is equal to minus 2. So therefore the determinant of the matrix is equal to minus 2, because I have already told you the determinant of a matrix is equal to the determinant of matrix is equal to product of the eigenvalues, whereas the sum of the eigenvalues is equal to the trace of the matrix. So therefore minus 2 is the correct solution of this question. So you can solve this question in also another method, which is x cube minus 2x square minus x plus 2 is equal to 0. So by this method we can solve this equation, which is first take the coefficients. For x cube the coefficient is 1, for x square the coefficient is minus 2, for x the power of 1 the coefficient is minus 1, for a coefficient of x the power of 0 coefficient is 2. Let me assume that 1 is going to get satisfied. So if you take 1 here, I am going to have to take here 0 here. So 1 to 0 is equal to 1. 1 into 1 is nothing but 1. Minus 2 plus 1 is minus 1. Minus 1 into plus 1 is again minus 1. Minus 1 plus minus 1 is equal to minus 2. Minus 2 into 1 is nothing but minus 2. So plus 2 minus 2 is equal to 0. So if you are going to get 0, finally you can say x is equal to 1 is a root. So therefore here x is equal to 1 is a root means x minus 1 into this is the original equation as a cube. So as one root we are taking out, the next will be x squared. So x squared minus x minus 2 is equal to 0. So if you solve these two equations, we are going to get finally x minus 1 into x minus 2 into x plus 1 is equal to 0. So if we equate to 0 each term, we are going to get x is equal to 1, 2 and minus 1. So these are the eigenvalues, because this is a characteristic equation. For the characteristic equation, the roots are nothing but eigenvalues. Then we have to find what is the determinant of the matrix is equal to product of the eigenvalues. We know each and every eigenvalue. Just do the product of each and everything. So 1 into 2 into minus 1 is nothing but minus 2. So you can solve either of these two methods, you are going to get the same result. So now we are going to solve another question. See the question here. The solution of d square x by dt square plus x is equal to 0, subject to the conditions, which is x of 0 is equal to 1 and x dash of 0 is equal to minus 1. So this is a differential equation they have given. D square x by dt square plus x is equal to 0, and the conditions are x of 0 is equal to 1 and x dash of 0 is equal to minus 1. So at these two conditions we have to find what is the value of the x we need to figure out in terms of t. So what are the four options? Option C, cos t minus sin t is the correct solution of this question. So let's solve this numerical. So you can see clearly here d square x by dt square plus x is equal to 0. So if I take x as a common and let me assume d by dt is nothing but d, so it is d square plus 1 is equal to 0. So d square is equal to minus 1. So d is equal to under root or minus 1 is nothing but plus or minus I or j. So therefore this is the equation that you are going to get. So I have already told you, whenever the roots are a plus or minus I into b, then the equation is e to the power of ax into a cos bx plus b sin bx. So this is the equation that I have already told you. So whenever the roots are a plus or minus ib, then the equation is nothing but the general solution is called e to the power of ax into a cos bx plus b sin bx. Here x I am taking it as the independent variable, but here t is the independent variable but not the x. So you have to replace x by t here. So therefore we can say that here just we have to replace this the y, actually y is equal to. So here in place of y we have to substitute x, in place of x we have to substitute t, because this is for general expression, general differential equation of dy by dx. But here dx by dt means replace y by x and x by t. So therefore x is equal to a is nothing but 0 here, because b is equal to 1. So therefore if you substitute here we are going to get a cos t plus b sin t. So now if you do the differentiation with respect to t, then cos t is minus sin t and sin t is cos t. So you are going to get in this format. So now, as I already told you, very important point, the constants also they are given. What are the constants? X of 0 is equal to 1. So x of 0 is equal to 1 means t is equal to 0 and x is equal to 1. So you have to substitute in this equation, which is t is equal to 0 and x is equal to 1. Then 1 is equal to a into cos 0 is nothing but 1, b into sin 0 is equal to 0. So if you solve this one, we are going to get a is equal to 1. And similarly, in the other constant they are given, x dash of 0 is equal to minus 1 means at t is equal to 0, x dash of 0 is equal to 1. So you have to replace here x dash is equal to minus 1 and t is equal to 0. So minus 1 is equal to minus a into sin 0 is equal to 0, cos 0 is equal to 1. So b into 1. If you solve this one, b is equal to minus 1 and a is equal to 1. So you know a, you know b. Just substitute in the general format, we are going to get x is equal to cos t minus sin t. So this is called as general solution, but this is called as a particular solution for these constraints. So x is equal to cos t minus sin t is the correct solution of this question. As I have already told you, a plus or minus ib, if these are the roots, then the complementary solution is nothing but a to the power of x into a cos bx plus b sin bx. Whenever the dy by dx format, whenever the differential equation the format of dy by dx, this is the equation we are going to get with the power of x into a cos bx plus b sin bx is equal to y. So now we are going to solve another question. See the question here. Let S denote the surface of the cylinder x square plus y square is equal to 4 and z is lying from minus 2 to 2. Then what is the value of the surface integral of z minus x square minus y square into ds is equal to. So here basically they are telling that let S denote the surface of cylinder, which is s square plus y square is equal to 4 and minus 2 less than or equal to z less than or equal to 2. So basically with this constraint that you are going to get a cylinder, but we have to see only the surface of cylinder, only the surface of cylinder, only the surface of cylinder we need to figure out. Then what is the surface integral? So only on the surface only you have to do the integration. What is the surface integral of z minus x square minus y square into ds? We need to figure out. So the four options, option D minus 64 pi is the correct solution of this question. So let's solve this numerical. See, as you can see clearly, this is the surface, which is x square plus y square is equal to 4 and minus 2 less than or equal to z less than or equal to 2. So basically we are going to get a surface of a, we can say we are going to get a cylinder of this fashion. So this is the cylinder that you are going to get, which has a x square plus y square is equal to 4 with the z varying from minus 2 to plus 2. So basically if you want to do this integration, the surface integral of z minus x square minus y square ds we need to figure out. So basically what I am trying to do, what I am doing is basically I am going to convert the Cartesian coordinate system into cylindrical coordinate system. So I am going to convert the Cartesian coordinate system into the cylindrical coordinate system. So this is the Cartesian coordinate system. So this is the integral that I need to figure out. So now I want to convert this in terms of the cylindrical coordinate system, which is x. See, for cylindrical coordinate system, the parameters are rho, phi and z. So therefore, for Cartesian coordinate system, the coordinates are x, y and z. So x is equal to rho into cos phi and y is equal to rho into sin phi and z is equal to z. See, the same in both the cylindrical and also in the Cartesian. So therefore, x is equal to rho cos phi, y is equal to rho sin phi and z is equal to z. Where ds only on the surface only you have to take only the what is the surface area, only the surface area we need to figure out, only this surface area, not upper one and down one, only the open surface area we need to figure out. The surface area is equal to rho into d phi into dz, rho into d phi into dz. So therefore we are going to get this is equal to rho into d phi into dz. Only on the surface on the surface part only you have to take the area, which is ds is equal to rho d phi into dz, where rho d phi is the length change in length along the phi axis and dz is the length along the change in the z axis. So therefore we can say rho d phi into dz is the small amount of area on this surface. So rho is equal to nothing but 2, which is s square plus y square is equal to 2 square. So 2 square is nothing but radius is equal to 2. The circle has a radius of 2. Then what is the radius of this cylinder is nothing but 2. So rho is equal to 2. So now we have to solve this double integral. So double integral of z minus x square minus y square into ds. As I have already told you, x is equal to rho cos phi and y is equal to rho sin phi. I have substituted x is equal to rho cos phi and y is equal to rho sin phi. But ds is equal to rho into d phi into dz. And if you want to cover the entire surface, you have to change phi is equal to 0 to 2 pi. Then if you want to cover the overall length, then we have to go from z minus 2 to plus 2. But rho is equal to 2 is always fixed. So rho is equal to is fixed. So then only you can over this you can totally control, or you can say you can cover the total open surface. But overall surface of cylinder you can cover with this constant, which is phi is equal to 0 to 2 pi and z is equal to minus 2 to plus 2 and rho is equal to 2. So if you solve this one, we are going to get z minus rho square. If you take rho square minus rho square common, sin square pi plus cos square pi is equal to 1. So z minus rho square into rho into d phi into dz, and this is from phi is equal to 0 to 2 pi and z is equal to minus 2 to plus 2. But rho is nothing but 2. So if you substitute here, again rho is equal to 2 here, 2 square is 4. So z minus 4 into 2 into d phi into dz, the same constants, same surface integral, phi is equal to 0 to 2 pi and z is equal to minus 2 to plus 2. So t is a constant, you can take it outside the integration. So 2 into integration of z is equal to minus 2 to plus 2, phi is equal to 0 to 2 phi. Here z minus 4 into d phi into dz. As you can see clearly, this is in terms of pure integration of z and this is purely in terms of y. So you can separate do the integration because both are independent of each other, and you can also see the limits are also independent of each other. So z is independent of phi and phi is independent of z. So you can separate do the integration. So 2 into line integral of z is equal to minus 2 to plus 2 z minus 4 dz and phi is equal to 0 to 2 pi d phi. So 2 into z is nothing but integration z square by 2 minus 4z. Substitute limit z is equal to minus 2 to plus 2 and this integration of d phi is nothing but phi. Substitute limit 0 to 2 phi. So if you substitute upper limit minus lower limit, we are going to get 2 into 4 by 2 minus 8 minus of 4 by 2 plus 8 into 2 phi, because 2 pi minus 0 is equal to 2 pi. So if you solve this one finally, we are going to get minus 64 pi is the correct solution of this question. So if you solve this, finally you are going to get minus 64 pi is the correct solution of this question. So now we are going to solve this question. See the question here. A curve y is equal to f of x passes through the point 0, 5 by 2 and has a slope x into the power of minus x square for the tangent at a point s, y on the surface on the curve. And the equation of the curve is, so basically they are saying that here there is a curve y is equal to f of x just passing through the point 0, 5 by 2 and has a slope of x into the power of minus x square for the tangent at the point s, y on the curve. Then what is the equation of the curve we need to figure out. So what are the four options? All the options are wrong, they have given. So now we will solve the exact solution of this question. So you can see clearly dy by dx is equal to, because slope is nothing but slope at any point, or you can say slope at any point on a graph y is equal to f of x. The slope is nothing but dy by dx. So dy by dx is equal to x into the power of minus x square. So if I take dx to the right hand side, we are going to get dy is equal to x into the power of minus x square into dx. So now I will do the integration of the both sides. So integration of dy is equal to integration of x into the power of minus x square into dx. So integration of dy is nothing but y. So we are going to get here finally is equal to y. So therefore we are going to get here. So integration of dy is nothing but y. So y is equal to integration of y is equal to integration of dy is equal to integration of x into the power of minus x square into dx. Now I am going to solve this equation. Let me substitute. Let me assume that x square is equal to t. Then if I want to do the differential with respect to t. So 2x into dx by dt is nothing but 1 because x square is equal to t. So if you do the differential with respect to t, then we are going to get 2x into dx by dt is equal to 1. So if I take dt to the RHS, we are going to get 2x into dx is equal to dt. So x into dx by is equal to dt by 2. So now I will replace x into dx is nothing but dt by 2. I have already told you y is equal to integration of x into the power of minus x square into dx. So now I am substituting x into dx is equal to dt by 2 and x square is equal to t. So finally I am going to get like this. Y is equal to integration of e to the power of minus t into dt by 2 is equal to. So if you solve this one, as half is a constant, you can take it outside the integration. So half into integration of e to the power of minus t into dt. So y is equal to half into integration of e to the power of minus t is nothing but e to the power of minus t by minus 1 plus constant c. It's a general solution. So if you are, so finally you are going to get minus half into e to the power of minus t plus c. It is called as the general solution. But t is nothing but x square. X square is equal to t. So therefore in place of t I am substituting x square. So we are going to get y is equal to minus half into e to the power of minus x square plus c. So this is a general equation. But now I want to find the particular value for a, this equation is passing to 0, 5 by 2. So if I substitute this value in this one, we are going to get the value of c. So if you substitute here, we are going to get like this. 5 by 2 is equal to minus half into e to the power of minus 0 whole square plus c. Because e to the power of 0 is again 1. So therefore we are going to get minus half here. Because 1 by e to the power of 0 square is nothing but 1 by e to the power of 0 is 1. So 1 by 1 is into 1. So 1 into minus half is minus half. So 5 by 2 is equal to minus half plus c. So if you solve this one, we are going to get c is equal to 3. So you know the value of c. You substitute in the general format, you are going to get the particular solution, which is y is equal to minus half into e to the power of minus x square plus 3. So this is a correct solution, but this option is not present. This solution is not present in any of the options. So we can say all options are wrong, and this is the exact solution of this question. So this is the correct solution of this question. Now we are going to solve another question. So your question here: suppose f of x comma y is equal to x into mod y is defined on s comma y. The range of x is from 1 to 2, and the range of y is minus 3 to 4. Then if mod of f of x comma y1 minus f of x comma y2 mod is less than or equal to k into mod of y1 minus y2, then what is the value of the k? Then we have to find what is the value of k. We need to figure out. So for the four options, option D, 2 is the correct solution of this question. So let's solve this numerical. So in this question, they given that f of x comma y is equal to x into mod y. So the range of x is from 1 to 2 and the range of y is from minus 3 to 4. So now we have to find the question they are given mod of f of x comma y1 minus f of x comma y2 mod less than or equal to k into mod of y1 minus y2. So what is the value of k we need to figure out in this question. So here f of x comma y1 means we know f of x comma y. So in place of y substitute y1. So you are going to get here in place of this one we are going to get x into mod of y1 minus here we are going to get x into mod of y2. Just I have substitute, I have keep this values in this function. So we are going to get like this, same as this one, less than or equal to k into mod of y1 minus y2. So I have substitute these values. So you are going to get equation in this format, which is mod of f of x comma y1 minus f of x comma y2 mod less than or equal to k into mod of y1 minus y2. So I have substituted these values, we are going to get just mod of x into mod of y1 minus x into mod of y2 overall mod less than or equal to k into mod of y1 minus y2. So in these two terms x is a common, so I can take x as a common. So mod of x into mod of y1 minus mod of y2 less than or equal to k into mod of y1 minus y2. Just have taken x as a common. See, x is always positive because in the question they are already given the range of x is from 1 to 2. So x is always positive, but y is a positive, it is a negative because y is from minus 3 to 4. So sometimes y is positive, sometimes y is negative. Whereas the x range is always 1 to 2. So x is always positive, so you can take it outside. Therefore, x is always positive, so you can take it outside this mod. So x into mod of y1 minus mod of y2 less than or equal to k into mod of y1 minus y2. So now I am writing this one in the reverse fashion. Suppose if a is not equal to b means b greater than or equal to a. So I am writing in the reverse fashion, which is k into mod of y1 minus y2 greater than or equal to x into mod of y1 minus mod of y2. I have already told you very important point, which is this is an important theorem. See, mod of y1 minus y2 is always greater than mod of y1 minus mod of y2. So listen carefully. Mod of y1 minus y2 is always greater than or equal to mod of y1 minus mod of y2. It's a very important relation. See, always irrespective of this thing, it is always true. See, mod of y1 minus y2 is always greater than or equal to mod of y1 minus mod of y2. Mod of y1 minus y2. So mod of y1 minus y2 is always greater than or equal to mod of y1 minus mod of y2 overall mod. So always x is lying from 1 to 2. See, I have already told you very important point. See, I have already told you k into mod of y1 minus y2. Here you can see clearly k into mod of y1 minus y2 is always greater than or equal to x into mod of y1 minus mod of y2. See, I want to make this equal. See, if I want to make this equal, definitely this should be always maximum value of x. So it should be always maximum value of x. Then only this both can be equal. So therefore, so you can see clearly this y1 minus y2, the mod of y1 minus y2 is always greater than or equal to mod of y1 minus mod of y2 overall mod. This principle I have already told you. If I want to make this two equal, then definitely here I have to multiply by a maximum value, which is x max. So therefore, if I take the maximum value, then k into mod of y1 minus y2 is equal to x max into mod of y1 minus mod of y2. Already told you at maximum both are equal. As you can see, at maximum value this modulus and this modulus is always equal. So we are going to cancel this two terms because both are equal. So now x is equal to x max. See, k is equal to x max. Then what is the value of x max? The maximum value. The maximum value of x is 2. So k is equal to 2. So 2 is the correct solution of this question. So finally I can say I am equating these two equations, these two constants. These two constants are equal whenever you go for the maximum value of x. At that condition only both will be equal because mod of y1 minus y2 is always greater than or equal to mod of y1 minus mod of y2. So this is always true irrespective of this values y1 and y2. Always this is always true. You can substitute any value and you can even check also. If you want to make it equal, definitely this multiple, whatever the multiple you are multiplying, these should be a maximum value. Then only they are going to be equal. So this value is also equal. So therefore k is equal to x max. So therefore k is equal to x max. X max, the maximum value of x is 2. So k is equal to 2 is the correct solution of this question. So you can see clearly k is equal to 2 is the correct solution of this question. So now we are going to solve another question. See the question here. Suppose f is a function defined from range 1 to 2. It is a continuous function such that f of t into f of 1 is less than 0. If it is a sequence generated by bisection method as a result of approximating a 0 a0 of f of x, then what is the magnitude of the a6 minus a0 is not equal to? We need to figure out. So the four options, option B, A 1 by 64 is the correct solution of this question. So basically in this question there is a function f of x. It is defined from 1 to 2, it is a continuous function. So now if f of 2 into f of 1 is less than 0 means at one point you are going to get a positive value and the other point you are going to get a negative value. So the product is equal to less than 0. So therefore definitely at one point in between 1 and 2, at one point of x, definitely you can get the function is equal to 0 or you can say a root function. That we need to figure out with the help of bisection method. So now we have to find what is the value of the after 6th iteration, which is the 6th iteration, the determinant of the 6th iteration root minus exact root we need to figure out. This A0 is called as the exact root and A6 is called as the sixth iteration root. What is the difference of these two roots we need to figure out? With that magnitude value, only the positive value we have to take. This is not equal to what is the range we need to figure out. So the four options, option A is the correct solution of this question. So let's solve this numerical. See, in a bisection method, after n iterations, the difference between the exact root and the nth iteration root is at most 1 by 2 to the power of n. So in a bisection method, after n iterations, the difference between the exact root and the nth iteration root, iteration, this is iteration, not iteration, it is the iteration root. In a bisection method, after n iterations, the difference between the exact root and the nth iteration root is at most 1 by 2 to the power of n. So magnitude of an minus a0 less than or equal to 1 by 2 to the power of n. It is less than or equal to 1 by 2 to the power of n. So we can say that here n is called as the nth iteration root and a0 is called as the exact root. The difference between them is at most less than or equal to 1 by 2 to the power of n. So therefore n is called as the number of times that you are doing the iteration. So magnitude of an minus a0 less than or equal to 1 by 2 to the power of n, where n is called as the nth iteration root and a0 is called as the exact root. In a bisection method, after n iterations, the difference between the exact root and the nth iteration root is at most 1 by 2 to the power of n. The magnitude of n minus a0 less than or equal to 1 by 2 to the power of n, where n is called as the nth iteration root and a0 is called as the exact root. So n is the nth iteration. After that, we are going to do. Basically, in this question, they are asking what is a6 minus a0. So n is equal to 6. To substitute number 2 to the power of 6 is nothing but 1 by 64. So n is called as the nth iteration root and a0 is called as the exact root. So the magnitude of a6 minus a0 is not equal to 1 by 2 to the power of n. N is equal to 6 here. So 1 by 2 to the power of 6 means nothing but 1 by 64. 1 by 64. 2 to the power of 6 means 64. So this is the correct solution of this question. See, order of the bisection method is equal to 1 and the order of the regular fallacy method is 1 and the order of the secant method is 1.62 and the order of the Newton-Raphson method is 2. It's a very important point. In the examinations they are going to ask the order of the different methods also. All these are the numerical methods. So order of the bisection method is 1 and the order of the regular fallacy method is 1 and the order of the secant method is 1.62 and the order of the Newton-Raphson method is 2. See, whenever as the order increases, we can get the solution in a very easy time, in a less time. See, as the order of the method increases, then we can get the result in very less time. So as the order increases, we can get the result in a very less amount of time. In the examinations, they can ask the order of the different methods also. So order of bisection method is equal to 1 and the order of regular fallacy method is 1 and the order of the secant method is 1.62 and the order of the Newton-Raphson method is 2. As the order of the method increases, then we get the result in a very less amount of time. As I have already told you, as you are going to increase the order, then we are going to get the result in a very less amount of time. So we can say that the order of bisection method is equal to 1, order of the regular fallacy method is 1 and the order of secant method is 1.62 and the order of the Newton-Raphson method is 2. So as the order of the method increases, then we are going to get the result in a very less amount of time. So now we are going to solve another question. See the question here. This is the question. The sum of mean and variance of a Poisson distribution is 8. Then its standard deviation is. In this question they are saying that the sum of mean and the variance in a Poisson distribution is 8. Then what is the value of the standard deviation we need to figure out. So the four options, option B, 2 is the correct solution of this question. So let's solve this numerical. This is the solution of this question. See the solution here. Poisson distribution, which is P of x is equal to e to the power of minus lambda into lambda to the power of x by x factorial. So this is the probability equation in the Poisson distribution, which is P of x is equal to e to the power of minus lambda into lambda to the power of x by x factorial. Where x is called as the Poisson random variable and lambda is called as a mean or average. So x is called as the Poisson random variable and lambda is called as a mean or average. So this is the general equation in the Poisson distribution. So P of x is equal to e to the power of minus lambda into lambda to the power of x by x factorial. So P of x is equal to e to the power of minus lambda into lambda to the power of x by x factorial. While x is called as a Poisson random variable and lambda is called as the mean or the average. We always in a Poisson distribution, the expectation of x is equal to variance of x is equal to lambda. See, both are always equal. The expectation of x is equal to the variance of x is equal to lambda. The expectation of x is equal to variance of lambda is equal to the variance of x is equal to lambda. In a Poisson distribution, always the expression of x is equal to variance of x is equal to lambda. But in the question, if you see clearly, in the question they are given that the sum of mean and the sum of mean and variance is equal to 8. Mean is nothing but basically expectation, or we can say mean. Expectation is also called as a mean. So sum of mean and the variance is equal to 8. So mean is nothing but expectation. So summation of expectation and the variance is equal to 8. As I already told you, both are equal to lambda. So lambda plus lambda is equal to 8. So 2 lambda is equal to 8. Lambda is equal to 4. But what is the variance of x is equal to lambda? So lambda is equal to 4. But variance is equal to sigma x squared. Sigma is called as the standard deviation and the square of the standard deviation is called as a variance. Sigma is called the standard deviation and the square of the standard deviation is variance. So sigma x squared is equal to 4. What is sigma x is equal to 2. So 2 is called the standard deviation and sigma square is called as a variance. Sigma is called as the standard deviation and sigma square is called as a variance. So the standard deviation the question they are asking, so its value is equal to 2. So sigma x is called as the standard deviation and sigma x square is called as a variance. So simply we can say sigma means standard deviation and the square of sigma is called as a variance. So let me give you some important formulas. The variance of x is equal to expression of x square minus expression of x whole square. For discrete, this is a general equation. For discrete probability, we have to use it is sigma x square into p of x minus sigma into x into p of x whole square for discrete. Whereas for continuous, integration of minus 70 plus 70 x square into f of x into dx minus integration of minus 70 plus 70 x into f of x dx whole square for the continuous nature. This is for the discrete nature. So you can see clearly each and everything which I already told you. So therefore, expectation of variance of x is equal to expression of x square minus expression of x whole square. So therefore, simply we can say that here we are going to get in this format, as you can see clearly, which is sigma x square into p of x minus sigma x into p of x whole square for discrete nature, and integration of minus into plus infinity x square into f of x dx minus integration of minus into plus infinity x into f of x into dx whole square for continuous nature. So these are the important formulas that are always questions are being definitely asked on these concepts. So simply we can say that variance of x is equal to expression of x square minus expression of x whole square. For discrete nature, we are going to get sigma x square into p of x minus sigma x into p of x whole square. Whereas for continuous nature, integration of minus plus into x square into f of x dx minus integration of minus plus into x into f of x dx whole square. So x is a random variable which always lies from 0, 1 to up to infinity. So x is always a random variable which ranges from 0, 1 to up to infinity. Where lambda is called as average or mean is equal to alpha into delta t. So lambda is equal to alpha into delta t is equal to n into t. Here n is the number of trials. It is always very large and p is always small. So whenever the number of trials are very large and the probability of success is very less, then we are going to use the Poisson distribution. Otherwise we go for the binomial distribution. So whenever the n is very large and the p is very small, then only we go for the Poisson distribution. Otherwise we go for the binomial distribution. So therefore, lambda is called thus. This alpha is called as the average number of occurrence of the event in a unit time. The lambda is called as the average number of occurrence of the event in delta t duration or mean or average is always a positive value which is always greater than 0. Alpha means the average number of occurrence of event in a unit time, and lambda is called as the average number of occurrence of event in delta t duration or mean or average is always a positive number which is always greater than 0. The summation of probability of each and every event is equal to sum of all the events is equal to 1. So p of x is equal to 0 plus p of x is equal to 1 up to so many things is equal to 1. First moment is called as a lambda, and the second moment is lambda plus lambda square. First moment means it is equal to lambda, and second moment is nothing but lambda plus lambda square. Always I have already told in the Poisson distribution, mean is equal to variance is equal to lambda. So this is a very important point. Mean is equal to variance is equal to lambda. Mean means explanation of x. Variance means variance of x is equal to lambda. Lambda is also called as average of mean. So this is all these formulas for the Poisson distribution. So now we will see some more important distributions which may ask in examinations, which is uniform distribution. So f of x is equal to 1 by b minus a. Then x is lying from a to b. Then we can say if you find the area is equal to 1 because when x is lying from a to b, it is a function having a constant value of 1 by b minus a, the magnitude, and area is nothing but length into height. the length is equal to, the width is equal to b minus a, and height is 1 by b minus a. So if the multiplication we are going with area is equal to 1. In the remaining region it is 0. So the function is defined only in this range, and the remaining range is 0. So f of x is equal to 1 by b minus a for x lying from a to b, and is equal to 0 otherwise. This is called the uniform distribution, and area should be always equal to 1. For this uniform distribution, the expression of x is equal to a plus b by 2, and the variance of x is equal to b minus a whole square by 12. So this is a very important formula that you always have to keep remembering this one. So therefore, expectation of x is equal to, simply we can say that expectation of x is equal to a plus b by 2, and the variance of x is equal to b minus a whole square by 12. So you can see clearly here, everything I have already mentioned here. So we can say simply that expectation of x is equal to a plus b by 2, and the variance of x is equal to b minus a whole square by 12. So expression of x is equal to a plus b by 2, and the variance of x is equal to b minus a whole square by 12. So expression of x is equal to a plus b by 2, and variance of x is equal to b minus a whole square by 12. So now we will go for the univariate exponential distribution. So for the univariate exponential distribution, we will see what is the function f of x. F of x is equal to lambda into e to the power of minus lambda x for x greater than 0, and is equal to 0 otherwise. So this function is defined only for x greater than 0, but at x less than 0 it is 0. So therefore f of x is equal to lambda into e to the power of minus lambda x for x greater than 0, and is equal to 0 otherwise. It is called as the univariate exponential distribution. Then exponential of x is equal to 1 by lambda, and the variance of x is equal to 1 by lambda square. The lambda is a parameter. So if any function f of x in this format, always area is called as a probability density function. F of x is called as a probability density function. This area should be always equal to 1. So then exponential of x is equal to 1 by lambda, and the variance of x is equal to 1 by lambda square. The lambda is always called as a parameter. So now we will go for the normal distribution. Normal distribution is called as the last concept in the probability here. The probability density function in the normal distribution is f of x is equal to 1 by root 2 pi. So under root over 2 into pi, or we can say under root over 2 pi into sigma x into e to the power of minus of x minus mu x by under root over 2 into sigma x whole square, where x is from minus infinity to plus infinity. So you can see clearly this is the function f of x. F of x is equal to 1 by under root over 2 pi into sigma x e to the power of minus of x minus mu x by under root over 2 into sigma x whole square. So this is the equation of the normal distribution, which is f of x is equal to 1 by under root over 2 pi into sigma x into e to the power of minus of x minus mu x by under root over 2 into sigma x whole square. So it's a range from minus infinity to plus infinity. So area of this function is always equal to 1, because f of x is called as a probability density function. So therefore area integration of minus infinity to plus infinity, f of x into dx is always equal to 1. Then expression of x is equal to mu x, and the variance of x is equal to sigma x square, because sigma x is called standard deviation. So sigma x is called as a variance. So this is a very important point. So expression of x is equal to mu x, and the variance of x is equal to sigma x square. So now we are going to solve another question. See the question here. If x is a binomial variate with n is equal to 6 and p is equal to 1 by 3, then p of x is equal to 2 by p of x is equal to 4, we need to figure out. See basically here, binomial variate is binomial distribution. X is a binomial distribution with number of trials is equal to 6, and the probability of success is 1 by 3. And what is the ratio of p of x is equal to 2 and p of x is equal to 4, we need to figure out. So the four options, option A, 4 is the correct solution of this question. So let's solve this numerically. See in the binomial distribution, both n and the probability of success are very medium, or you can say very less. So therefore binomial distribution here, probability of x is equal to r is equal to ncr into e to the power of r into 1 minus p whole to the power of n minus r. See r is called as p is called as success, and 1 minus p is called as a failure. So r number of times it is success, so remaining n minus r number of times it is failure. So out of n trials, r number of times it is success, so the remaining n minus r times it is a failure. So this is the thing that you always have to remember. So probability of x is equal to r is equal to ncr into, so I already told you in the binomial distribution, probability of x is equal to r is equal to ncr into e to the power of r into 1 minus p whole to the power of n minus r. where N is was the number of trials and R is called as this number of trials. In this number of trials, R number of trials, we are going to get the success of P, and 1 minus P is called as a failure. So probability of X is equal to R is equal to NCR into P to the power of R into 1 minus P to the power of N minus R. In the question they are given N is equal to 6 and P is equal to 1 by 3. So now in this question they are asking what is the probability of X is equal to 2 by probability of X is equal to 4. So we know the formula, let's substitute the values. 6C2 into 1 by 3 to the power of 2 into 1 minus 1 by 3 to the power of 6 minus 2 by 6C4 into 1 by 3 to the power of 4 into 1 minus 1 by 3 to the power of 4 minus 6 minus 4. So if you solve this one, we are going to get, see always NCR is equal to NCN minus R. So 6C2 is equal to 6C4. So they are going to get cancels, and if you solve these two equations, if you solve, finally we are going to get 4. So therefore, the probability of X is equal to 2 by probability of X is equal to 4 is equal to 4 is the correct solution of this question. So probability of X is equal to 2 by probability of X is equal to 4 is the 4. So if you solve these two equations, finally you are going to get 4 is the correct solution of this question. So only thing that you have to remember, the probability of X is equal to R is equal to NCR into P to the power of R into 1 minus P to the power of N minus R. This is the equation in the binomial distribution. So we can say that exponential of X is equal to N into P, whereas the variance of X is equal to NP into 1 minus P. So exponential of X is equal to N into P, and the variance of X is equal to NP into 1 minus P. This is for the binomial distribution, or we can say for binomial distribution, the exponential of X is equal to N into P, whereas the variance of X is equal to N into P into 1 minus P. So now we are going to solve this question. See the question here. Consider the following statements, which is BJT is a current control device, whereas IGBT is a voltage control device. Second statement, BJT and the IGBT have low input impedance, whereas the power MOSFET has the higher input impedance. Statement 3, IGBTs are available at higher voltage ratings than power MOSFETs because of the increment in the on-state voltage drop is less than IGBT. And statement 4, IGBT and power MOSFETs have the different substrate structures. So the correct statements are, so out of these 4 statements we have to choose which are the statements are correct, which is 1, 3, 4 are the correct statements, but 2 is the wrong statement. So option B is the correct solution of this question. So let's discuss something more about this question. So let me do the comparison. of the BJT, MOSFET and the IGBT, their characteristics. So you can see clearly, so this is the symbol of the BJT. So it's a base, collector and emitter. So this is called as the NPN transistor, or NPN BJT or NPN transistor. So B means base, C means collector, E means emitter. Whereas for MOSFET, this is called as the gate, drain and source. So this is a symbol for the MOSFET. And for the IGBT means it's a combination of the BJT and the MOSFET. IGBT has the input characteristics similar to MOSFET and the output characteristics similar to BJT. So IGBT has the input characteristics similar to MOSFET and the output characteristics are similar to BJT. So we can say it has high input resistance and the low on-state voltage drop. So listen carefully, it has high input impedance and low on-state voltage drop. So we can say for IGBT, the input characteristics are similar to MOSFET and the output characteristics are similar to BJT. So this is the gate, collector and emitter. You can see this diagram is also combination of the BJT and the MOSFET. So gate, this is called as the gate, this is a collector and this is a emitter. So now input drive. So BJT is a current control device, whereas the MOSFET is a voltage control device, whereas the IGBT is a voltage control device. And now we'll see the input resistance of BJT. The input resistance is very less, but whereas for the MOSFET the input resistance is very higher, and whereas for the IGBT the input resistance is very higher when compared to MOSFET also. So therefore IGBT has very high resistor, very high input resistance when compared to MOSFET also. So we can simply say that the IGBT has a huge amount of input resistance when compared to MOSFET or BJT. So now we will see the voltage rating. So voltage rating of BJT is very low, whereas MOSFET is only up to 1 kV, and whereas for IGBT the voltage rating is very higher, which is 1 kilovolt. So simply we can say that I've already told you IGBT input characteristics are similar to MOSFET and the output characteristics are similar to BJT. So the input resistance of IGBT is very higher when compared to MOSFET. Similarly, the output on-state voltage drop is very lesser when compared to BJT. So we can say that similarly, as the low on-state voltage drop, it is going to available with huge amount of voltage ratings. So therefore, the voltage rating for BJT is very less and the voltage rating for the MOSFET is up to only 1 kV, whereas for IGBT it is greater than 1 kilovolt. Now we will see the frequency of applications. So basically, BJT is applied for only low frequency applications like range of 10 to 20 kilohertz, whereas the MOSFET is used for high frequency applications which is lesser than 1 megahertz, whereas the IGBT medium frequency application which is less than 50 kilohertz. So MOSFET is going to use for high frequency applications when compared to BJT and IGBT. So BJT is used for low frequency applications, IGBT for the medium frequency applications, and for the MOSFET for the high frequency applications. So for BJT, the low frequency applications like 10 to 20 kilohertz, whereas MOSFET is for high frequency application which is less than 1 megahertz, and for the IGBT which is medium frequency applications less than 50 kilohertz. And the carriers in the BJT, the name itself indicates it is a bipolar junction transistor, means holes and electrons are responsible for the current flow in the BJT, whereas the MOSFET is a unipolar device. Only unipolar means only one carrier, either holes or electrons. Only one thing is going to get present based on the substrate. So basically it is called as a majority carrier device because it doesn't have any minority carriers. So it is always a majority carrier device. Similarly, IGBT is a bipolar device. It is a combination of both BJT and the MOSFET. So it is basically bipolar. So current in it is because of both the electrons and also the holes. So this is the, we can say different types of, or we can say classifying of MOSFET, BJT and the IGBT. So now regarding the on state, I have already told you for the BJT, whenever the base current is 0, it is off, and whenever the base current increases, it is on. Similarly for the MOSFET, whenever the VGS is less than threshold voltage, it is off. Whenever the VGS is greater than VT, it is said to be on. Similarly for the IGBT, whenever the VG is less than VT, it is off. Whenever the VG is greater than VT, it is then it is said to be on. So we can say clearly current, because of current, the switching, the on and off of the BJT is dependent on current. So it is called the current control device. Whereas the MOSFET, the on and off is going to depend upon the voltage. So it is called as a voltage control device. Similarly, the IGBT is also the on and off state is depending upon the voltage. So it is called as the voltage control device. And the parallel operation is not possible. It is not possible in the BJT, whereas it is possible for MOSFET and the IGBT. So parallel operation is not possible for the BJT, but it is possible for both IGBT and also the MOSFET. On-state resistance. So you can see clearly whenever the switch is on, the on-state resistance, we are going to see what is the dependence on the temperature. It is a negative temperature for on-state resistance. So we can say BJT is a negative temperature for on-state, means whenever the temperature increases, the resistance decreases. It is a bad thing. So therefore, whenever the temperature increases, the resistance is decreasing, means it can forward more amount of current. As the current increases, it can break down. So we can say secondary breakdown is possible in the BJT because it is the on-state resistance is negative temperature for resistance, means as temperature increases, the resistance decreases, so more amount of current can flow, so more heat, again the resistance will decrease because more temperature rise. So simply we can say secondary breakdown will occur. So it is not used for parallel operation. Whereas the IGBT and the MOSFET both are positive temperature for resistance, means whenever the temperature increases, the resistance increases. So therefore it cannot exceed, means it cannot limit more than a certain current. So we can say parallel operation is very good. It is possible only with the help of IGBT and MOSFET, but not with the case of BJT, because I have already told you the on-state resistance for the BJT is a negative, whereas the MOSFET and the IGBT are positive temperature for the resistance on-state resistance. Switching losses. The switching losses are very high. in the BJT and it is very low for the MOSFET and the IGBT. The switching power loss are very high for the BJT and these are low for the MOSFET and IGBT. So these are some of the important characteristics of the BJT, MOSFET and IGBT. So finally we can say that the statements like the two statements are BJT is a current control device whereas the IGBT is a voltage control device. Yes, the statement 1 is correct. The statement 2 is here BJT has the low input impedance whereas the power MOSFET and IGBT have higher input impedance. This is the correct statement. So this is the correct statement. Listen carefully. BJT have the low input impedance whereas the power MOSFET and the IGBT has higher input resistance. So these are the points that you always have to remember. And the third statement is I am telling only the correct statements. The correct statements, all the correct statements I am telling here. So therefore, IGBTs are always available at the higher voltage ratings when compared to power MOSFET because of the increment in the on-state voltage drop is less than IGBT. And the IGBT and power MOSFETs has the different structures adjustments. The structures, the design, the structures of the power MOSFET and IGBT are totally different. So IGBT and the power MOSFETs have the different structures. So finally, the correct statements are BJT is a current control device whereas the IGBT is a voltage control device. BJT has the lower input impedance whereas the IGBT and power MOSFET has the higher input impedance. And the IGBTs are available at higher voltage ratings when compared to power MOSFETs because of the increment in the on-state voltage drop is less than IGBT. And the IGBT and the power MOSFETs have the different substrate structures. So these are the correct statements which I am told. So first statement is correct, third statement is correct, fourth statement is correct. So second they have given wrong. And the correct statement also I have already told you. The correct sentence for statement 2 should be BJT has the lower input impedance whereas the IGBT and the power MOSFETs have higher input impedance. So now we are going to solve another question. See the question here. The circuit shown in the figure is A. So this is a circuit they have given and they are asking what is the type of the circuit we need to figure out. So chopper 1, chopper 2, supply voltage source Vs, diode D1 and diode D2. This is called as a freewheeling diode or D1 a freewheeling diode. This is a inductor and this is a supply or we can say DC voltage source E. And this current is I0, this output current and this is the output voltage. So we have to find what is the type of this chopper. So the four options, option B, 2 coordinate type A or type C chopper. It's basically a 2 coordinate, either it is a type A or the type C chopper. So this is the correct solution of this question. So let's solve this numerical. So this is the question they have given, which is the chopper 1, chopper 2. Here diode D1 and diode D2. These are inductorial and these are E. These are voltage source, output voltage V0 and output current I0. See, first I am assuming that chopper 1 is on. So whenever the chopper 1 is on, we can see clearly V0 is equal to plus Vs and I0 is a positive. So we can say that here inductor is charging. So current will increase. So V0 is equal to plus Vs and current is in the charging mode. In the second case, let me on only D1. So I am going off all the things. CH1 is off, CH2 is off, D2 is off, only D1 is off. Only D1 is on. So current is going to get decay. So means the inductor is going to get discharged. So current is going to decay in the positive sense, in the positive direction. It is going to decay. In the third case, the next step I am going to do basically, I am going to on the chopper CH2. On the CH2 I am going to on. So therefore, inductor is going to get charged in the reverse fashion, in the negative direction. So whereas the output voltage is equal to 0 because the short circuit. So output voltage is equal to 0. Again, in the last case, now I am going to on this D2. So everything is off. So therefore, current I is going to, so V0 is equal to Vs. Whenever the D2 is on, V0 is equal to plus Vs and the current I0 is going to get decay in the negative direction because it is a Vs is there. So it is going to get decay in the negative direction. So therefore simply we can say that current is going to decay in the negative direction. So finally I can say that whenever the chopper CH1 is on, in the first case, whenever the chopper CH1 is on, V0 is equal to plus Vs and I0 is charging in the positive direction because L is charging. Whereas the second case, whenever the D1 is on, so V0 is equal to 0 and L is discharging. So I0 is the positive direction, it is discharging. In the third case, I am going to on the CH2. So if I on the CH2, V0 is equal to 0 and it is charging in the negative direction. Whereas when last case D2 is on, the V0 is equal to plus Vs and the inductor is discharging in the negative direction. So therefore we can see here this is the graph that we are going to get finally. So this is the graph that we are going to get. I have already told you in the first case. In the first case, whenever the chopper CH1 is on, V0 is equal to plus Vs and the current is charging in the positive direction. So chopper 1 is on and remaining all are off. So here it is charging. In the second case, I have already told you only freewheeling D1 is on and remaining everything is off. So V0 is equal to 0 and current I0 is discharging in the positive direction. Whereas the next case, I have already told you only chopper CH2 is on. Here diode D1 is on and remaining everyone is off. And basically here it is discharging. Whereas here only chopper CH2 is on. So whenever the chopper CH2 is on, you can see clearly that it is charging. The emitter is charging in the reverse direction. So everything is off except CH2. Except CH2 everything is off. So emitter is charging in the reverse direction. In the last case, only D2 is on. So whenever D2 is on, V0 is equal to plus Vs. So therefore, we can say that except D2 everything is off. So emitter is discharging in the reverse direction. It is discharging. So charging, discharging, charging, discharging. So you can see clearly V0 is always positive, but the current is positive and negative. So V0 is always positive, but the current is positive for some time and negative for some time. So now I am going to draw the plot. So I am going to draw the plot between the V0 and I0. As you can see clearly, V0 is a positive always and the current is positive and negative. So you are going to get these two coordinates. V0 is always positive but current can be positive or negative. So you are going to get these two coordinates. So this is called as the class C chopper, class C chopper or two coordinate type C chopper. So this is the, we can say the exact, see the circuit diagram is going to represent it is a two coordinate type C chopper. It's a two coordinate type C chopper. So this is basically a two coordinate type C chopper. So now I will discuss different types of choppers in the power electronics. So this is called as a, if you draw the graph between V0 and I0, if it is lying in the first corner, means V0 is a positive and I0 is a positive, always it is said to be a class C chopper. Suppose if V0 is always positive but I0 is negative, always it is said to be a class B chopper. Whereas class C chopper means it's a combination of class A and class B, which is here V0 is always positive but I0 can be positive or negative. So it is called as a class C chopper. So class D means first coordinate and the fourth coordinate. So here V0 is a positive, it can be positive, it can be negative, but I0 is always positive. So it is said to be a class D chopper. Similarly, class E means it is a combination of each and every coordinate. See, V0 can be positive, negative, I0 can be positive, negative. So we are going to get a class E chopper. So totally there are 5 choppers. There are 5 types of class of choppers: class A, class B, class C, class D, class E. Class A means first coordinate, class B means second coordinate, class C means first and second, class D means first and fourth, class E means all coordinates. So listen carefully. Class A means first coordinate, class B means second coordinate, class C means first and second coordinate, class D means first and fourth coordinate, and the class E means all the coordinates. So these are the different types of choppers that are present in the power electronics subject. So now we will solve the question. See the question here. For the circuit shown, the di by dt max and the dda by dt max, when the switch is S is closed, that t is equal to 0 R. So in this question, this is a circuit diagram. You can see clearly this is the thyristor, this is a snubber circuit. Snubber circuit is going to consist of the resistor and the capacitor, and there is the inductor. So therefore here the supply voltage is a DC voltage source of 240 volt, and this is the voltage VA is called as the voltage across the thyristor. And here whenever the switch is closed at t is equal to 0 instant, then we have to find what is the current in the load. We can see the current here, the current in this thyristor is called as the I. So what is di by dt maximum value we need to figure out, and also we have to find what is the dVA by dt max we need to figure out. So what is the rate of change of current through this load 2 ohm, and also the rate of change of voltage across the thyristor, the maximum values we need to figure out. So the 4 options: option C 20 into root 2 ampere per microsecond and 12 into root 2 into volt per microsecond is the correct solution of this question. So let's solve this numerical. So you can see clearly here, I have drawn the diagram here again. So this is circuit diagram. So you can see clearly this is the 240 volt, this is the switch S. We are going to close at t is equal to 0, and this is the thyristor, and let me assume the current here is IA. The current here in the circuit is IA. Now this is called as the VA, voltage across this thyristor is VA. So this is snubber circuit consists of resistor and capacitor. Rs is equal to 10 ohm and Cs is equal to 0.2 microfarad. They are already given, and this is called as the Ls. Ls is equal to 12 microhenry, and this is a load resistance. RL is equal to 2 ohm. So in the circuit, whenever the switch is closed at t is equal to 0, we have to find what is the dA by dt maximum value, or we can say this is the current IA or I. We can use any notation. The rate of change of current, the maximum value we need to figure out, and the rate of change of voltage, or we can say what is the, this is dVA by dt max. So what is the rate of change of voltage across this resistor we need to figure out. So we have to find what is the dA by dt maximum value and dVA by dt maximum value we need to figure out from this circuit diagram. So this is the current IA, I, and this is the dVA by dt max we need to figure out. So now I am going to assume that, basically I am going to assume that the thyristor is on condition. So I am going to assume that the thyristor is at the on condition. So whenever the thyristor is on, and when I close the switch, so when I close the switch, so initially it is the inductor, series inductor is there, so current is equal to 0, so RL is equal to 2 ohm, so voltage drop across the 2 ohm is equal to 0, so therefore whatever the supply voltage should drop entirely across the inductor. So Vs is equal to L into diat by dt maximum value. So Vs is equal to L di by dt, so Vs is equal to Ls into dia by dt maximum value. So therefore Ls is equal to Vs by diat by dt max. So now diat by dt max is equal to Vs by L. So Vs is equal to 240 volt and Ls is equal to 12 microhenry. So 12 to 10 to the power of minus 6. So if you solve this one, we are going to get 20 into 10 to the power of 6 ampere per second, because the current unit is ampere and the time unit is second. So I want, if I take this 10 to the power of 6 downward, I can write which is 10 to the power of minus 6 into second is equal to 1 microsecond. So dia by t by dt max is equal to 20 ampere per microsecond, because whenever the thyristor is on, so we can say at the switch t is equal to 0, we are closing the switch. So as there is the inductor Ls, so current initially is equal to 0 in that inductor, so therefore the voltage drop across the resistor RL is equal to 0. So therefore whatever supply voltage should drop entirely across the inductor itself. So therefore we can say that Vs is equal to Ls into diat by dt max. So diat by dt max is equal to Vs by Ls. Vs value we have now just 240 and Ls is equal to 12 to the power of minus 6. So if you solve this one, we are going to get 20 ampere per microsecond. So now for the snubber circuit, so if you apply the snubber circuit, you can see clearly one important point. So for the snubber circuit, Rs is equal to dVA by dt max by dia by dt max. So it's a very important formula. Rs is equal to dVA by dt max by diat by dt max, because I've already told you that therefore Rs is equal to dVA by dt max is equal to diat by dt max. So therefore now if you apply this important formula, which is then dVAt by dt max is equal to Rs into diat by dt max. So you know the value of Rs, which is 10 ohm, and dia by dt max just now we have figured out just 20 to 10 to the power of 6 ampere per second. So if you solve this one, we are going to get 200 into volt per microsecond. So this is the correct solution of this question, because 10 and 20 is 200, and if you take the 10 to the power of 6 downward, we are going to get microsecond, and ampere into resistor is equal to volt. So therefore volt per microsecond. So 200 volt per microsecond is the correct solution of this question. So therefore simply we can say dVA by dt max is equal to 200 volt per microsecond. See, thyristor is protected by a snubber circuit and inductor. I have already told you. So we are going to use the snubber circuit to protect the thyristor against the sudden rate of change of voltage, sudden change of rise of voltage, and inductor we are going to protect the thyristor from sudden rise of change of current. So with the low snubber circuit, we are going to protect under the sudden rise of change of voltage across thyristor, and we are using the inductor to protect thyristor from sudden rise of change of current. So this is the importance of the snubber circuit and the inductor. So by using these two things, we are going to protect the thyristor. So finally I can say that very important formula, which is Vs is equal to Ls into dia by dt maximum value. Similarly Rs is equal to dVA by dt maximum value by dia by dt maximum. So these are the important two formulas that you always have to remember to solve this type of questions. So now we are going to solve the other question. See the question here. A single phase full converter SCR bridge with a freewheeling diode is connected to a RL load as shown in the figure. So Vs is equal to 230 into root 2 sin 314 t. So this is a single phase full converter with a freewheeling diode. So whenever there is a single phase full converter with a freewheeling diode, it is called as a semi-converter. So now this is a resistor of 0.5 ohm, inductor of 3 millihenry, and E value of 120 volt. So this is the output voltage. The average load current 8 ampere is constant over the working range. Then the firing angle delay is, so the average output current is 8 ampere. It's a constant value. So now we have to find what is the firing angle of this circuit we need to figure out. So what is the firing angle we need to figure out? Alpha we need to figure out. So out of the four options, option D, 53.2 degree is the correct solution of this question. So let's solve this numerical. So you can see clearly here, this is the circuit diagram. Single phase, see, in the question they are asking about the single phase full converter SCR bridge with a freewheeling diode. Means this is a single phase full bridge converter with a freewheeling diode. So this overall is going to act like a semiconductor. I have already told you this important concept in the electronics itself. So whenever for a single phase full converter, if you are going to keep a freewheeling diode, it is going to act like a semiconductor. So this is supply voltage Vs of t, and this is the load they have given, RL load of R value 0.5, L value 3 millihenry, and the E value of 120 volt. So this is the output voltage plus or minus V0 of t, and the output current is 8 ampere. 8 ampere is the average output current. So now based on this you have to find what is the firing angle alpha we need to figure out. So a single phase full converter which connected with a freewheeling diode, it is going to act like a semiconductor. I have already told you, whenever a single phase full converter bridge which is connected with a freewheeling diode, it is going to act purely like a semiconductor. Then what is the average value? Average value, the output average value of a semiconductor, I have already told you in the power electronics, the average value of the output voltage of a semiconductor is Vm by pi into 1 plus cos alpha. This is the equation 1. Suppose if you apply the average voltage equation across the load, then we are going to get V0 average is equal to R into I0 average plus VL average plus E. So if you apply the average across the load, then V0 average is equal to R into I0 average plus VL average plus E. It's a KVL equation. So this is the second equation. See, the average voltage across the inductor is always equal to 0. So this value you are going to get as 0. So this is V0 average is equal to R value which is 0.5 into I0 average value they have already given which is 8 plus, I have already told you the average value of the voltage across the inductor is 0 plus the E value is equal to 120 volt. So if you solve this one, V0 average is equal to, you are going to get this one 4 plus 0 plus 120 is equal to 124. So both these equations are always equal. So you have to equal these two equations because V0 average is equal to this value. So 1 is equal to 2. So in place of V0 average, I am going to keep here 124. So 124 is equal to Vm by pi into 1 plus cos alpha. So now, but 124 is equal to Vm by pi into 1 plus cos alpha. But in the question they are given, the supply voltage Vs of t is equal to 30 into root 2 into sin 3 420. The general format is Vm sin omega t. So Vm is equal to 230 into root 2 and omega is equal to 314. But we want here Vm. So Vm is equal to 230 into root 2. So substitute here 124 is equal to 230 into root 2 by pi into 1 plus cos alpha. So if you solve this one, so this is only one equation with only one parameter alpha. So if you solve this one, finally we are going to get cos alpha is equal to 124 into pi by 230 into root 2 minus 1. So if you solve this one, finally we are going to get, so if you solve this equation, finally we are going to get alpha is equal to 78.57 degree. But this solution is not there in the question itself. In the options, in the given options, this solution is not there. So we can say for this question there is no solution. But if you do some manipulation, then you can get the option D. So what is that? You can see clearly here, alpha is equal to 78.57 degree is not there in the any of the options. So you are going to get the marks for this question because they have given a wrong question. But if you do some manipulations, then you are going to get the result which is given in the options. This answer is not matching with the given options in the question. So now let us assume the converter is a full wave rectifier. Then see, if you remove the freewheeling diode, suppose if you remove that freewheeling diode, it is a full wave converter, or we can say full wave rectifier or full wave converter. So instead of semiconductor, if I replace that, if I remove that freewheeling diode, in the question if they are not given that freewheeling diode, then it is going to be a full wave converter. Then you will see what is the solution that we are going to get. Then I have already told you the average value of the output voltage of a full wave converter is 2 Vm by pi into cos alpha. But V0 average value we already know, which is 124 is equal to 2 into Vm is equal to 230 into root 2 by pi into cos alpha. So if you solve this one, alpha is equal to 53.2 degree. Yes, this is present in the option D. So this is the correct solution of this question. Means in the question they are given a wrong question, but instead of if they remove the freewheeling diode, then it is going to act like full wave converter, and we are going to get the option D is the correct solution of this question. So now we are going to solve another question. See the question here. Choose the appropriate synonym of the following words. So now we are going to discuss about the synonyms of the English words. So this is a question. See, indignant. So for this indignant, we have to find what is the synonym we need to figure out. Option A, terrified. Option B, uptight. Option C, disgruntled. Option D, helpful. So the four options, option B, uptight is the correct solution of this question. So for indignant, the synonym is the uptight. So now we'll discuss something more about this one. So for this indignant, the synonym is the uptight. So now we will see for each and every word and the corresponding meaning also we are going to study. So for indignant means, it means that it is a feeling, it means feeling or showing anger because that is unfair or wrong or very angry. So simply we can say indignant means you are very angry, means you are showing some very angry because something wrong is happened or something unfair is happened to you. So that is the reason you are showing very much angry. So we can say that you are showing very angry because something is wrong done to you, or someone is unfair to your activities. Then you are showing a lot of anger. That is called as the indignant. It means feeling or showing anger because that is unfair or wrong, or you are very angry because something is happened very wrong to you or very unfair to you, so you are very angry at them. That is called as the indignant. So indignant means it is a feeling or showing anger because that is unfair or wrong happened to you, or you are basically very angry. So this is the meaning of the indignant. So now we'll discuss another word. In the options they are given terrified. Terrified means caused to feel extreme fear. See, you are very fear. So the terrified means you are very much feared because of something. You are very much feared about something happened to you. So therefore, caused to feel extreme fear. So you are very much feared to know all about because something is very bad thing happened to you. So therefore, terrified means caused to feel extreme fear. Means you can say that something has happened, so you are very fear. Means you are not showing any anger, but you are very fear. And uptight. Uptight means anxious or angry in a tense and overly controlled. See, uptight means you are very angry. See, anger means it is also, see, indignant and uptight are both meaning the same, which is very anger. So if something is bad happened to you, you are very angry about them. So that is called as the uptight. So therefore, for indignant and the uptight, both are having the same meaning. So therefore, they are synonyms. So uptight means anxious and angry in a tense and overly controlled. So means you are very much anxious, or you are very angry about something. So disgruntled. Disgruntled means angry or dissatisfied. So disgruntled means it's angry or dissatisfied. Means you are not satisfied about any something. So it is called as that disgruntled. Or simply we can say it is dissatisfied. Means you are not satisfied with something. So it is called as that disgruntled. And helpful means giving or ready to give help. So helpful means you are helping someone because someone is needing help. So you are helping someone. It is called as a helpful. You are giving or ready to give help. So you are giving or ready to give help to someone. It is called as a helpful. So out of the four options, only uptight has the same meaning as the indignant. So therefore, here uptight is the synonym of the indignant. So simply we can say that indignant means it means feeling or showing anger because that is unfair or wrong. You are very angry. Terrified means it is a cause to feel extreme fear. Uptight means anxious or angry in a tense and overly controlled. And disgruntled means basically it is a dissatisfied. It is dissatisfied. It is not angry here. It is actually dissatisfied. This is not there actually. This is dissatisfied. So means you are very much dissatisfied about something happened to you. So it is called as the dissatisfied. And helpful means we can say giving or ready to give help, means you are helping someone. So only indignant means very anger, and uptight also means very anger. So that is called as the synonyms. So for indignant, the correct synonym is the uptight because they both have the same meaning. So now for this another question, for unique also we have to find the correct synonym. So option A simple, option B allowed, option C alike, option D special. So special is the correct solution of this question. So special is called as the synonym of the unique. So now we'll discuss each and every word meaning and their See, and you will see what are the synonyms also. So for the unique, the synonym is the special, and we will now see for each and every word what is the corresponding meaning also now we are going to learn. So for unique, the correct synonym is the special. So for unique, the correct synonym is the special. So now we will see each and every word and the corresponding meaning also now we are going to learn here. Unique means it means very special or unusual. So we can say unique means someone is very special in their activity, or we can say something is not usual, or simply we can say this unusual. So it is called as a unique. Similarly, being the only one of its kind, unlike anything else, means something which is very special. It's a very unique one. It's a very unique in its characteristics. It is not like others. It is not like others, anything else. It is called as the unique. So being the only one of its kind, unlike anything else, means it's a very different from the others. It is called as unique. So simply we can say unique means special. So it means very special or something which is very unusual or not usual. So being the only one of its kind, unlike anything else, means it is something different from each and everything. So it's a very unlike from anything else. It is called as the unique or special. Now for the another word simple, we will see what is the corresponding meaning. Easily understood or done, presenting with no difficulty. So simple means something which is very easily we can present. Something which one easily we can do is called as simple. So something which can easily understood, or something which we can easily do, or something which can be done with no difficulty, it is called as a simple. Simple means simply we can say that something which is easily understood, something which can be easily done, something which we can easily present with no difficulty, it is called as a simple. And allowed means let someone have or do something. See, allowed means you are allowing someone to do his or own activities. Means you are allowing someone to do his or her own activities is called as the allowed. Let someone have or do something. Alike means of two or more people or things similar to each other. Alike means we can say something which is very similar between the two or more things. So if you go to shop, if you want to buy baskets, you can see there are a lot of things which are very similar to each other. So we can call it as the alike of two or more people or things similar to each other. So suppose if you see the twins, you can say clearly they both are identical. So we can say they are alike means they have same similar characteristics. So alike means of two or more people or things similar to each other. And the special means better, greater, or otherwise different from what is usual. So therefore, special means better, greater, or otherwise different from what is usual. It is called as special means something which is very unique from the others, something which is very much different, something which is not same like others. It is called as a special. So unique means the unique and the special having the same meanings. It is called as a synonyms. So finally I can say unique means it means very special or unusual. So unique means it means very special or unusual, being the only one of its kind, unlike anything else. Simple means easily understood or done, presenting with no difficulty. Allowed means let someone have or do something. Alike means of two or more people or things similar to each other. Similarly, special means better, greater, or otherwise different from what is usual. So simply we can say that for the unique, the synonym is the special. Both are telling the same meaning, which is something which is different from others. It is called as the something usual or something unique or something special. So for the unique, the synonym is the special is the correct solution of this question. So now we will see the another word determine. So for this we need to find what is the synonym we need to figure out. Option A contemplate, option B ascertain, option C think, option D ponder. So out of the four options, option B ascertain is the correct solution of this question. So the synonym of the determine is called as the ascertain. So now we will discuss each and every word and the corresponding meaning also we are going to discuss in a detailed manner. So you can say clearly this is the word determine. So for this determine, the synonym is the ascertain. So now we will see for each and every word the corresponding meaning also now we are going to study. Determine means it means to officially decide something, especially because of evidence of facts to establish something exactly or with authority. Something to occur in a particular way or to have a particular nature. The determine means it means to officially decide something, especially because of the evidence of facts to establish something exactly or with authority. Means if you know each and every aspect of something with the facts, then you can easily determine whatever you want to figure it out. So if you know the facts, you can exactly know what it is. If you know the facts about something happening, then you can easily tell which is what is that thing. So it means to officially decide something, especially because of evidence of facts, to establish something exactly or with the authority, or something to occur in a particular way or to have a particular nature. Means if you know each and every aspect of something, then you can say what is that, what is the particular way of happening or particular nature also you can easily figure it out. So determine means it means to officially decide something, especially because of the evidence of facts, to establish something exactly or with authority, something to occur in a particular way or to have a particular nature. Now the next word, contemplate. Contemplate means look thoughtfully for a long time at. So contemplate, look thoughtfully for a long time at, means is basically it's like a vision, means you are seeing something which is far behind. Also you are seeing with your vision. So look thoughtfully for a long time at, means you are planning your future, you are contemplating your future with your vision. So you can say look thoughtfully for a long time at. Ascertain means it means to learn to find out something such as information or the truth. It means to find something out for certain or make sure of. Certain means yes, you know the facts, you want to figure out something, so this is called as the ascertain. So we can say simply determine and ascertain are meaning the same, which is you are figuring out the facts to figure something out. So it means to learn out, find out something such as information or the truth. Means you are learning something to figure out the truth of something. So it means to find something out for certain or make sure of. Means if you have some doubt, means you are studying that thing to make sure is that true or not. Suppose if you are studying some subject, you have doubt, then you are opening the book and you are reading it. So therefore you want to make sure that whatever you have studied is true or not. Means you are determining. So we can say you are ascertain, means you are making sure whatever you have listened is right or wrong by studying something. So it is called as ascertain. So determine and ascertain are same meanings. They are going to give you same things. So it means to learn to find out something such as information or the truth. It means to find something out for certain or make sure of. So now the next word is the think. Think means have a particular opinion, belief or idea about something, someone or something. See, think means basically you are having some idea, some particular opinion of some person. Suppose some friend is beside you and you have a particular, because you are living with that person for a lot of amount of time, you are spending a lot of time with your friend, you know each and every aspect of your friend, means you have some opinion, you have each and every belief on that person. So therefore think means having a particular opinion, belief or idea about someone or something. Ponder means think about something carefully, especially before making a decision or reaching a conclusion. Means you are thinking about something very carefully, so after that you are making a decision based on the thinking. So therefore here thinking about something very carefully, especially before making a decision or reaching a conclusion. So if you want to make anything conclusion, first you have to understand that one and you have to think it whether it is right or not. With a lot of plans you have to think and finally you have to get a conclusion. So this is called as a ponder. So ponder means think about something carefully, especially before making a decision or reaching a conclusion. So these are the different types of words and the corresponding meaning. So finally I can say that very simple, I can say that here for the determine, ascertain is the correct solution of this question. So determine and ascertain are giving the same meaning, which is you are studying something. You are studying, suppose if you have listened something and you want to make sure that it is true or not, so you are going to library and you are studying the books to make sure that is it right or wrong. So it is called as a determine. So therefore the determine means it means to officially decide something, especially because of evidence of facts, to establish something exactly or with authority, something to occur in a particular way or to have a particular nature. Contemplate means look thoughtfully for a long time at. Ascertain means it means to learn to find out something such as information or the truth, or it means to find something out for certain or make sure of. The next word think means have a particular opinion, belief or idea about someone or something. And ponder means think about something carefully, especially before making a decision or reaching a conclusion. So these are different types of words and their meanings. So simply we can say that determine, the correct synonym is the ascertain. So now for the other word consciousness, we need to find what is the synonym we need to figure out. So option A vision, option B knowledge, option C understanding, option D awareness. So the four options, option B awareness is the correct synonym of the consciousness. So now we'll see each and every word and their meaning also now we are going to study. So for the consciousness, the correct synonym is the awareness. So for consciousness, the correct synonym is the awareness. So now we study the each and every word and the respective meaning. So consciousness means, it means the condition of being conscious, the normal state of being awake and able to understand what is happening around you, or the state of being aware of the and responsive to one's surroundings. Consciousness, you are awake means you know what is happening beside you, and you are very much know what you need to do at that instant, because you are awake means you know each and everything which is happening around you, so you know what to do at that instant. This is called as the consciousness. So it means the condition of being conscious, the normal state of being awake and able to understand what is happening around you, or the state of being aware of and responsive to one's surroundings. Next word, vision. Vision means the ability to think about or plan the future with imagination or wisdom. So vision means you know what in future what you want to become. So you are going to plan as per the schedule. So therefore you want to reach your dreams. So within 5 years what you want to become. So you have some imagination. So you have to make a schedule to reach that dream. So that is called as a vision. Means you know what to do in the future. So what you want to become in the future. The ability to think about or plan the future with imagination or wisdom. The ability to think about or plan the future with the imagination or wisdom. Next word is the knowledge. For knowledge, here the meanings are there. For the knowledge, we can see clearly for the knowledge, the meaning is it is the facts, information and skills acquired through experience or education, the theoretical or practical understanding of a subject. Knowledge means you are going to spend some time with any subject, then you are going to know what is the theoretical knowledge and also the practical knowledge you are going to get by spending some time with the books or any information. So facts, information and skills acquired through experience or education, the theoretical or practical understanding of a subject. So as the time goes on, you know each and every aspect, because you are going to face a lot of things with your experience and with education also. You are going to get certain knowledge what to do and what not to do at an instant. So that is called as a knowledge. Facts, information and skills acquired through experience or education. So what are the facts, what are the information and what are the skills that you acquire through either experience or through education. It may be either theoretical one or either it may be a practical way of understanding the subject. It is called as a knowledge. So simply we can say it is basically facts. So what are the facts, what are the information and what are the skills that you are going to acquire either through experience or education. It may be either theoretical one or it may be either a practical way of understanding a subject. It is called as the knowledge. Understanding. Understanding means simply we can say that the ability to understand something. So understanding means suppose something is there and you are able to understand what is that. It is called as understanding. Suppose your teacher is delivering a class and you are able to understand what is your teacher is teaching in the class, then we can say it is understanding. Means the ability to understand something, it is called as the understanding. Awareness. For the awareness, it means knowing that something such as a sound, sensation or emotion. It means knowing that something such as sound, sensation or emotion, or knowledge or perception of a situation or fact. Awareness means you know the subject is, you know that subject very well, so you know each and everything about that subject, so you know what to do and what not to do at that instant. So it is called as awareness. Means you know, you have the knowledge, you have the perception of a given situation or a fact. So it is called as the awareness. So conscious also telling you whatever is happening around you, you know each and everything and you know what to do and what not to do. Similar awareness also, whatever the situation around you, you know the facts, you know each and everything and you know what to do at that instant. So both are having the same meaning. So simply we can say consciousness and the awareness are the synonyms because they are having the same meaning. So let me repeat each and every word and the corresponding meanings. Consciousness means it means the condition of being conscious, the normal state of being awake and able to understand what is happening around you, or the state of being aware of and responsive to one's surrounding. Now for the word vision. So for the vision, the meaning is the ability to think about or plan the future with imagination or wisdom. And the next word is knowledge. Knowledge means the facts, the information and the skills which are acquired through experience or education. It may be theoretical or practical, which is the understanding of a subject. The next word is the understanding. It means the ability to understand something. And another word is the awareness. Awareness means it means knowing that something such as a sound, sensation or emotion, or the knowledge or perception of a situation or fact. Means if you know what is surrounding happening to you and you know what to do at that instant, it may be either consciousness or either it may be awareness. So awareness is the correct synonym of the consciousness. Now we are going to solve the another question. See the question here. Assuming the diodes in the circuit to be ideal, I and V in the circuit are respectively. So in this question they are given a diode is an ideal diode. And now we have to find what is the value of the current I and the voltage V. So this is the current direction I and this is the voltage polarity V. So out of these four options, option C, 0 ampere and minus 2 volt is the correct solution of this question. So let's solve this numerical. So this is the circuit diagram. So this is the 10 ohm, this is the 10 kilo ohm, 10 kilo ohm, 10 kilo ohm and 10 kilo ohm. This is the 9 volt and this is the 5 volt. So this is basically an ideal diode. Ideal diode means the voltage drop is equal to 0 and the current I. So now I am going to make the circuit in a very simpler form with the help of the Thevenin voltage and Thevenin circuit. So I want to make the circuit as simple with the help of Thevenin voltage. So if I take this one, if I cut and if I remove this section, the Thevenin voltage is nothing but if these two are identical resistance. So the open circuit voltage will be 9 into 10 kilo ohm by 10 kilo ohm plus 10 kilo ohm is nothing but which is 5 volt. So the voltage across this is 5 volt and the Thevenin resistance. So across this terminal, Thevenin resistance means you have to short circuit this one. So these two are in parallel. So 10 kilo ohm and 10 kilo ohm in parallel is nothing but 5 kilo ohm. So therefore this circuit is going to become a series combination of a 5 volt and so basically this is the 9 volt. So 9 by 2 is nothing but which is 4.5. 9 by 2 is nothing but 4.5 volt. So 4.5 volt and the 5 kilo ohm resistor in series with respect to this circuit. Similarly here also I want to make this circuit very simple with the help of Thevenin voltage. As this is a 5 volt, these two identical resistance. So this voltage here is nothing but Thevenin voltage is equal to 5 into 10 by 10 plus 10 which is nothing but 5 by 2, 2.5 volt. And the Thevenin resistance is short circuit this voltage source. These two are in parallel. So therefore 10 kilo ohm parallel 10 kilo ohm is nothing but 5 kilo ohm. So therefore we are going to get a Thevenin voltage of 2.5 volt and a Thevenin resistance of 5 kilo ohm. So now I am going to redraw this Thevenin circuit across this junction and across this junction. So this is the circuit I am going to get here. So I have already told you this is a 4.5 volt and this is a 5 kilo ohm. This is a 2.5 volt and this is a 5 kilo ohm. In the question they are given this is the current direction and this is the voltage polarity. See here I am going to assume that the diode is on. I have assumed that the diode is on. So by KVL I am going to write the equation from here to here. So in this loop I want to write the KVL equation. So minus 2 plus means rise in potential. So plus 2.5 minus current is in this direction. Current goes from higher potential to lower potential. As I am dropping from plus to minus there is a negative. So minus 5 10 to the power of 3 into I. It is on. So ideal voltage. So ideal diode. So voltage is equal to 0. And here current flows from higher to lower. So minus 5 10 to the power of 3 into I. So plus to minus means voltage drop. So minus 4.5 is equal to 0. So if you solve this equation, we are going to get, which is minus 2 is equal to 10 into 10 to the power of 3 I. So finally I solved this one, I got I is equal to minus 0.2 milliampere. See, I have already told you diode is on. So whenever the diode is on, I should get I as positive, but here I got I as negative. Negative means it is going in the reverse fashion from N junction to P junction. It is wrong because whenever it is going from N junction to P junction, it is open circuit. So whatever the assumption is wrong because it is, see if I is equal to positive means whatever the assumption is true, here the result is going to support the assumption, but here the result is contradiction to the assumption. So therefore current is moving in the opposite direction. So simply we can say it is an open circuit. Our assumption is wrong because so therefore the diode is off. So now we are going to off the diode. See if I am going to off the diode, so this is 5 kilo ohm, this is 5 kilo ohm, 4.5 volt and 2.5 volt. So the current is equal to 0, but I want to find what is this voltage V. So this is plus, this is minus means this voltage minus this voltage, which is 2.5 volt minus 4.5 volt is nothing but minus 2 volt. So V is equal to minus 2 volt and I is equal to 0 is the correct solution of this question. So V is equal to minus 2 volt and I is equal to 0 ampere. So this is the correct solution of this question. So whatever the assumption, because we got I is equal to negative, but we need to get I is positive because our assumption must be true. But here the current is equal to negative, so therefore whatever the assumption is wrong. So diode is going to get off. So therefore current is equal to 0 ampere and voltage is equal to minus 2 volt. So this is the correct solution of this question. So now the next question. The diode circuit shown in the figure has R is equal to 30 kilo ohm and VDD is equal to 10 volt and Vs is equal to 5 volt and diode drop Vd is equal to 0.7 volt, because now we are going to consider the practical diodes during the on state. Then what is the V naught will be? So in this question they are given R is equal to 30 kilo ohm, VDD is equal to 10 volt and Vs is equal to 5 volt, and these are the practical diodes. So during the on condition the voltage drop because the diode is 0.7 volt. Then we have to find what is the output voltage V naught we need to figure out. So the four options, option A 2.1 volt is a correct solution of this question. So let's solve this numerical. So you can see clearly here, this is the circuit diagram. I have redrawn the circuit diagram again. So therefore it is very much easier. So you can see clearly, this is the D1, D2, D3, D4 and D5. These are the 5 diodes. So these are the basically 5 diodes in the question. So now based on this here, you can see clearly this resistance is equal to 30 kilo ohm and this is the source voltage which is 5 volt and this is the plus VDD is equal to 10 volt. This is the plus VDD is equal to 10 volt and this is the output voltage we need to figure out. So this R is equal to 30 kilo ohm, VDD is equal to 10 volt, Vs is equal to 5 volt. So D1, D2, D3, D4, D5. So during the on condition, the voltage drop across the diodes are 0.7 volt. So based on this we have to find what is the output voltage V naught we need to figure out. So in the practical case, during the unconditional diode, the voltage drop across the diode is 0.7 volt. So now I am going to consider the two cases. See, when D1, D2, D3 are in series, similarly D4, D5 are in series. So this is the one combination and this is the other combination. Let me assume a case. Both are on. If both are on, then what is the output voltage we are going to get? See, then the output voltage V naught is equal to, see, because of D1, D2, D3 on, the output voltage will be, which is 0.7 plus 0.7 plus 0.7 is equal to 2.1. Whereas due to D4 and D5, what is the output voltage we are going to get? If they are on, then we are going to get 0.7 plus 0.7 plus 5. Why is because of voltage source. So all these are in series. So therefore if you add them, you are going to get 6.4. So this is 2.1 and this is 6.4. If they are in parallel, they should have same voltage, but here these are different voltages. So it indicates that this is the wrong assumption. So our assumption is wrong. Go for the another case. Another assumption. This D1, D2, D3 is on and D4, D5 is off. Then we will see what is going to happen. Then if D1, D2, D3 are on, then what is the output voltage we are going to get? 0.7 plus 0.7 plus 0.7 is equal to 2.1. See, here if this is a 2.1, if the source voltage is equal to, the Vs is equal to 5 volt and V naught is equal to 2.1. So definitely we can say that whenever the Vs is equal to 5 volt and V naught is equal to 2.1, the diodes D4 and D5 are going to face a reverse bias voltage. So they are going to get off. Yes. So our assumption is correct. So therefore this is going to satisfy our assumption also, because whatever the result V naught is equal to 2.1 and Vs is equal to 5. So Vs is greater than V naught. So the diodes D4 and D5 are reverse bias. So they are going to get off. So this solution is going to show that whatever the assumption is correct. So therefore this is the correct solution. So V naught is equal to 2.1 volt. Let's go for the other case also and we will see whether they are true or not. We are going to see that one also. Other case is D1, D2, D3 are off and D4, D5 are on. We will see what is happens. If D4 and D5 are on, then what is the output voltage? 0.7 plus 0.7 plus 5. This is basically 5. This is not 0.5. This is 5. So 0.7 plus 0.7 plus 5 is nothing but which is 6.4 you are going to get. If this is a 6.4, definitely you can see then if V naught is equal to 6.4 means D1, D2, D3 should also get on, but our assumption is off they have shown. So this is going to wrong result. See, this is the case. Definitely D4, D1, D2, D3 should also be on. So the result is going to show that our assumption is wrong. So therefore this is the wrong solution. And the last case is both are off. If both are off, if D1, D2, D3 are off and D4, D5 are off, then what is the output voltage? It is equal to 10 volt. It is equal to VDD 10 volt. But if this is the case, then D1, D2, D3 is on and D4, D5 is also on, because here V naught is greater than Vs. So D4, D5 are on. Similarly, V naught is greater than the ground potential. Again D1, D2, D3 are on. So all of this result is contradicting our assumptions. So this is also wrong. So finally I can say only one case is possible, which is D1, D2, D3 are on and D4, D5 are off. So this is circuit diagram we are going to get whenever the D1, D2, D3 are on and D4, D5 are off, which is this is the 10 volt R equal 3 kilo ohm. So these are off means open circuit. So this is the Vs is equal to 5 volt. So these are on. So diodes are in this direction. So P is positive, N is negative. P is positive, N is negative. P is positive, N is negative. So 0.7 volt, 0.7 volt at 0.7 volt. So therefore we can say that if you add all these three voltages, they are in series combination is 2.1 volt. So output voltage is called 2.1 volt. So D1, D2, D3 are on and D4, D5 are off. So if you want to find what is the value of the current I, then what is the value of the current I? Simply we can say here 10 minus 2.1 by 30 kilo ohm. So I is equal to 10 minus 2.1 by 30 kilo ohm. 30 to the power of 3, you are going to get 7.9 by 30 into 10 to the power of 3, you are going to get 0.2633 milliampere. So in the question we are not asked about the current, but still we have did it. But the output voltage is equal to 2.1 volt and the current I is equal to the current through the resistor R is equal to just 0.263 milliampere. So this is the correct solution of this question. So now we are going to solve another question. See the question here. What is the largest and the smallest integers that can be represented using the sign 2's complement representation for 8-bit binary number? So what is the largest and the smallest integers that can be represented using the sign 2's complement representation for 8-bit binary number? So this question is basically for 2's complement with the n-bit, with the 8-bit, how much is the numbers, the range of numbers which we can represent? So the four options, option A minus 128 to plus 127 is the correct solution of this question. So let's solve this numerical. You can see clearly the range of decimal integers, that can be represented in 2's complement representation using n-bit is minus 2 to the power of n minus 1 to plus 2 to the power of n minus 1 minus 1. So this is the range of decimal integers that can be represented using the 2's complement representation with the help of n bits. Minus 2 to the power of n minus 1 to plus 2 to the power of n minus 1 minus 1. So the range of decimal integers that can be represented in 2's complement representation using the n bits is minus 2 to the power of n minus 1 to plus 2 to the power of n minus 1 minus 1. So in this question they are basically given when n is equal to 8. So basically in this question they are given when n is equal to 8. So when n is equal to 8, if you substitute here, you are going to get minus 2 to the power of 8 minus 1 to plus to the power of 8 minus 1 minus 1. So minus 2 to the power of 7 to plus 2 to the power of 7 minus 1, which is minus 128 to plus 127. So this is the representation of decimal integers that can be represented with the help of 8-bit in the 2's complement representation with the help of 8-bit, which is minus 128 to plus 127. So let me give you some different formulas for each and every bit. So for each and everything, let me give you some important formulas. So for n-bit unsigned range, the range of decimal integers it can represent is from 0 to 2 to the power of n minus 1. So 0 to 2 to the power of n minus 1. So suppose if there are n bits which are unsigned, means there is no signed integer, there is no signed bit. So therefore we can say that here for n-bit unsigned, the range of decimal numbers it can represent from 0 to 2 to the power of n minus 1. See, 0 has only one representation in this format. So 0 has only one representation in this n-bit unsigned. In this n-bit unsigned, the 0 has only one representation. Suppose for n-bit signed magnitude, what is the range? So before telling me the range, let me give you some idea here. For the positive, if you want positive, keep MSB as MSB, the MSB is nothing but 0 and the remaining normal binary representation. For negative, MSB is equal to 1 and remaining normal binary representation. So plus 0 and minus 0 have two different representation in this n-bit signed magnitude format. So in the n-bit signed magnitude format, MSB, if MSB is equal to 0 and the remaining normal binary representation, for negative, keep MSB is equal to 1 and remaining normal binary representation. So here plus 0 and minus 0 have two different representation. So plus 0 and minus 0 have two different representation in this format. So for n-bit signed magnitude, positive number we have represented by MSB is equal to 0 and remain normal binary representation, and negative where MSB is equal to 1 and remaining normal binary representation. In this plus 0 and minus 0 have two different representation. Now the range is from very simple, which is minus 2 to the power of n minus 1 to plus 2 to the power of n minus 1 minus 1. So for n bit side magnitude, the range is from minus 2 to the power of n minus 1 to plus 2 to the power of n minus 1 minus 1, because here one bit is used for sign. So therefore we have to do that negative of minus 1 here and here. So therefore minus 2 to the power of n minus 1 to plus 2 to the power of n minus 1 minus 1. So for n bit 1's complement. What is the range? I have already told you here. Positive means you have to keep MSB is equal to 0 and remaining normal binary representation. So for negative, keep MSB is equal to 1 and complementing the remaining above binary representation, or write perfectly the positive number and complement it. So listen carefully. For n bit 1's complement, see positive is nothing but positive number means keep MSB is equal to 0 and remaining normal binary representation. Negative means keep MSB is equal to 1 and complement the remaining above binary representation, or write perfectly the positive number and complement it. So these are two ways by which we can get the negative number from the positive number. So keep MSB is equal to 1 and complement the remaining above binary representation, or write perfectly the positive number and complement it. So therefore now what is the range? This range and the previous range is very same. For n bit signed and for the n bit 1's complement, the range is same, which is minus 2 to the power of n minus 1 to plus 2 to the power of n minus 1 minus 1. So the range is from minus 2 to the power of n minus 1 to plus 2 to the power of n minus 1 minus 1. Here also, in this also, plus 0 and minus 0 have two different representation. Here also, in the 1's complement also, we have plus 0 and minus 0 have two different representation. So now for n bit 2's complement representation is, I have already told you, for positive keep MSB is equal to 0 and remaining normal binary representation. For negative, keep MSB is equal to 1 and 2's complement the above normal binary representation, or write perfectly the positive number and 2's complement it. So positive number means keep MSB is equal to 0 and remaining normal binary representation. For negative, keep MSB is equal to 1 and 2's complement the above normal binary representation, or write perfectly the positive number and 2's complement it. Then the range for n bit. So the range of the 2's complement for n bit is here. Now in the previous one, just remove that minus 1 in the negative side. So minus 2 to the power of n minus 1 to plus to the power of n minus 1 minus 1. In the terms of negative, just remove that minus 1, then you are going to get like this. So you are going to get like this, minus to the power of n minus 1 to plus to the power of n minus 1 minus 1. Here we have removed the minus 1 from the above thing. So you are going to get like this, minus to the power of n minus 1 to plus to the power of n minus 1 minus 1. Here 0 has only one representation. So these are the things that you always have to keep remembering. So therefore questions are being asked on these concepts. So finally let me give you some important formulas again for bit conclusion. Here for n bit unsigned range, the range of the decimal integers from 0 to 2 to the power of n minus 1. Whereas for the n bit signed magnitude format, the range of decimal integers is from minus 2 to the power of n minus 1 to plus 2 to the power of n minus 1 minus 1. Similarly, for n bit, for one complement representation, which is the range is from minus 2 to the power of n minus 1 to plus to the power of n minus 1 minus 1. Whereas for n bit 2's complement representation, the range is from minus 2 to the power of n minus 1 to plus to the power of n minus 1 minus 1. So these are the ways that you always have to remember. All these things I have already told you. So now we are going to solve another question. How many maximum number of distinct binary trees can be found with only 3 nodes? How many maximum number of distinct binary trees can be found with only 3 nodes? Out of the 4 options, option D, 5 is the correct solution of this question. So let's solve this numerical. So you can see clearly these are the 3 nodes. So with the help of 3 nodes, we can draw 5 number of different trees we can draw. So we can see clear here we can draw 5 number of distinct trees we can draw with the help of 3 nodes. So you can see this is a 1, 2, 3. So this is the one set of triangle, this is another tree, this is another tree, this is another tree, and this is another tree. So these are the 5 different types of trees we can draw with the help of 3 nodes. So for 3 unlabeled nodes, we can get 5 possible number of distinct binary trees. So with the help of 3 nodes, with the help of 3 unlabeled nodes, we can get 5 possible number of distinct binary trees we can easily get. So with the help of 3 unlabeled nodes, we can get 5 possible number of distinct binary trees we can easily get. The formula to remember is very simple, which is 2n cn by n plus 1. So 2n cn by n plus 1, where n is the number of nodes. So 2n cn by n plus 1. This formula is going to give you the number of distinct binary trees you can get with the help of n nodes. So this formula is going to give you the number of distinct binary trees we can get with the help of n nodes. So this formula is going to give you the number of distinct binary trees that you can get with the help of n nodes. 2n cn by n plus 1, the number of distinct binary trees with n nodes. So this is going to give you the number of distinct binary trees with the help of n nodes we can get. Here n is equal to 3, so you substitute here 2 3 are 6, 63 by 4. 6 3 3 is nothing but 6 into 5 into 4 by 3 into 2 into 1 into 4. So if you solve this one, you are going to get 5. So this is the formula 2n cn by n plus 1. This is going to give you the number of distinct binary trees with the help of n nodes. So this is the formula 2n cn by n plus 1. So this formula is going to give you the number of distinct binary trees that can be found with the help of n nodes. Here n is equal to 3 here. If you substitute n is equal to 3, we are going to get 5. So with the help of 3 unlabeled nodes or 3 nodes, we can get 5 number of possible distinct binary trees. So this is the another question. The average age of 8 boys is 16 years. If the age of one more boy is added to it, the average age increases by 1 year. So what is the age of that new boy? So the average age of 8 boys is 16 years. If the age of one more boy is added to it, the average age increases by 1 year. So what is the age of that new boy? So the 4 options, option C, 25 years is the correct solution of this question. So let's solve this numerical. See here in the question, they are given that the average age of 8 boys is 16 years. So let me assume there are 8 boys, x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, x6, x7 and x8. So the average age. So these are the 8 people and their ages. So therefore, average means x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 plus x5 plus x6 plus x7 plus x8 by total number of boys are 8. So 8 is equal to 16. But now a new boy was added, then its the average age increases by 1 year, means previously it was 16, it is increases by 1 year, means it will now become 17, just adding 1, so you are going to get 17, but now you have to include the other person also. Let me assume its age is x9, so therefore as there are total 9 people, so you have to go for average by 9. So x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 plus x5 plus x6 plus x7 plus x8 plus x9 by 9 is equal to 17. If I take the 9 to this side, I am going to get x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 plus x5 plus x6 plus x7 plus x8 plus x9 is equal to 9 into 17. But I have already told you x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 plus x5 plus x6 plus x7 plus x8 is equal to 8 into 16. So in place of this, I will substitute 8 into 16 here. So from x1 to x8, I will substitute 16 into 8 plus x9 is equal to 9 into 17. So x9 is equal to 9 into 17 minus 16 into 8. So 9 into 7 is 153 and 16 into 8 is 128. So 153 minus 128 is 25 years. So therefore, the age of the new boy is equal to 25 years. So this is the age of the new boy, which is 25 years. So this is the correct solution of this question. So now next question is, what value should come in the place of question mark in the given number series? So what value should come in the place of the question mark in the given number series, which is 24, 37, 54, 75, 100, 129. So what is this question mark? So the 4 options, option D, 162 is the correct solution of this question. So let's solve this numerical. So in this question, we are given this format, which is here 24, 37, 54, 75, 100, 129. So with this number we need to figure out. So if you see clearly, if you add plus 30 into 24, you are going to get 37. If you add plus 17 to 37, you are going to get 54. If you add plus 21 to 54, you are going to get 75. If you add plus 25 to 75, you are going to get 100. If you add plus 29 to 100, you are going to get 129. So if you see clearly, this is plus 13, plus 17, plus 21, plus 25, plus 29. And if you take difference of these two numbers, then they are going to get 4. And if you take difference of these two numbers, you are going to get 4. So if you take difference of these two numbers, again you are going to get 4. If you take here also same difference, you are going to get 4. So you have to add 4 to this number. So again if you take different, again here also same thing, again you have to add plus 4. So 29 plus 4 is nothing but 33. So again you have to add 33 to this number. So 129 plus 33 is nothing but 162. So this is the correct solution of this question. So it is this is called as a 2 times you have to take the difference. So take 2 times you have to take the difference like this. So this is the first difference and this is the second difference. So questions can be asked in this 2 times also. So this is the first way, this is the second one. So from this, the 162 is the correct solution of this question. So initially plus 13 plus 17 plus 24 plus 21 plus 25 plus 29. Here plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. So add plus 4 here. 29 plus 4 is 33. Again add 33 here. 129 plus 33 is nothing but 162. So 162 is the correct solution of this question. Now the next question is the first woman of Indian origin who undertook a space journey. So the first woman of Indian origin who undertook a space journey. Option is Sunita Williams. Option B Kalpana Chawla. Option C Darshan Ranganath. Option D Avani Chaturvedi. So all these 4 options. Option B Kalpana Chawla is the correct solution of this question. So Kalpana Chawla is the first woman of Indian origin who undertook a space journey. She is the first woman from Indian origin. She went into space journey. So Kalpana Chawla was the first woman of Indian origin who undertook a space journey. So now we'll discuss something more about the Kalpana Chawla. So Kalpana Chawla was an American astronaut and the first woman of Indian origin in space. She first flew on Space Shuttle Columbia in 1997 as a mission specialist and a primary robotic arm operator. So basically, Kalpana Chawla was an American astronaut and the first woman of Indian origin in space. So she is basically from Indian origin, but she went to America. She first flew on Space Shuttle Columbia in 1997 as a mission specialist and primary robotic arm operator. So she first flew into the space in the year 1997 in a shuttle, which is Columbia, Space Shuttle Columbia, in the year 1997 as a mission specialist and primary robotic arm operator. Then comes the Sunita Williams is the second woman. She is the second woman. So this Sunita Williams is the second woman of Indian origin after Kalpana Chawla to enter into a space journey. So to enter into space on shuttle Discovery. So therefore, the Sunita Williams is the second woman. So Sunita Williams is the second woman of the Indian origin after Kalpana Chawla to enter into a space on shuttle Discovery. So now we'll discuss something more about the Kalpana Chawla. She went to space twice. So Kalpana Chawla went into space for the 2 times. She was born on the year 17th March 1962. On her second time into space, she was died. So on the second journey into space, she was died. She was dead on the month of 1st February 2003. Chawla died along with the 6 other crew members in the space shuttle. So along with her, total there are 7 people, they have passed away on this date. So total there are 7 people. So 7 people on the space shuttle, all the 7 people have died away. So all 6 other crew members in the space shuttle in the Columbia, which is STS-0107, the space shuttle is disintegrated over the Texas during the re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere, leading to the death of all the 7 crew members. She is Indian-born American astronaut and the first space mission was the Space Shuttle Columbia in the year 1997. So this is our first space mission, which is the Space Shuttle Columbia in the year 1997. The awards she was received are the Congressional Space Medal of Honor, NASA Space Flight Medal, NASA Distinguished Service Medal. So these are the awards she was won. And the cause of death was the Space Shuttle disaster. And the space missions were the STS-87 and the STS-107. These are the 2 space missions she was in her lifetime. So with her 2 missions in space, Kalpana Chawla had logged a total of 30 days, 14 hours and 54 minutes in space. So with these 2 missions, she stayed in space with a total time of 30 days, 14 hours and 54 minutes in space. In her last space mission, the crew performed 80 experiments, including the study of Earth and the space science and advanced technology development and the astronaut health and the safety. So these are the things that all the crew members have studied in that mission. So finally I can say that Kalpana Chawla was an American astronaut and the first woman of Indian origin in space. She first flew on Space Shuttle Columbia in the year 1997 as a mission specialist and primary robotic arm operator. And then comes the Sunita Williams. She is the second woman of Indian origin after Kalpana Chawla to venture into space on the shuttle Discovery. So let me discuss something more about the Kalpana Chawla. She went to space for the 2 times, and she was born in the year 17th March 1962. On her second time into space, she was passed away. She was passed away on the date of 1st February 2003. Chawla died along with the 6 other crew members in the space shuttle, means including that there are total 7 members. So in the space shuttle Columbia, STS-107. The space shuttle disintegrated over the Texas during the re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere, leading to the death of all the 7 crew members. She is Indian-born American astronaut. And the first space mission was the Space Shuttle Columbia in the year 1997. And the awards which are received by Kalpana Chawla are the Congressional Space Medal of Honor, NASA Spaceflight Medal, and the NASA Distinguished Service Medal. And the cause of death was the Space Shuttle disaster. The space missions are the STS-87 and the STS-107. I've already told you. So with her 2 missions in space, Kalpana Chawla had clocked a total of 30 days, 14 hours and 54 minutes in space. In her last space mission, the crew performed around 80 experiments, including the study of the Earth and the space, science and advanced technology development, and the astronaut health and the safety. All these things were done by the Kalpana Chawla and the crew members in their last space mission. So finally, I can say that Kalpana Chawla is the first woman of Indian origin who undertook a space journey. Now the next question is, which is the first session of the Indian National Congress was held at. The first session of the Indian National Congress (INC) was held at the option A, Bombay is the correct solution of this question. The first session of the Indian National Congress was held from the 28th to 31 December in the year 1885 at the Bombay. So the first session of the Indian National Congress was held from the 28th to 31 December in the year 1885 at the Bombay. So under the initiative of the retired civil service officer, which is Alan Octavian Hume. So under this retired civil service officer only this was initiated, which is Alan Octavian Hume. So and the Umesh Chandra Banerjee was the first president of the Congress. He was the first president of the Congress. And the first session was attended by 72 delegates. So in this session, the 72 delegates have been attended. So we can say that the first session of the Indian National Congress was held from the 28th to 31 December 1885 at the Bombay under the initiative of the retired civil service officer, which is Alan Octavian Hume. And the Umesh Chandra Banerjee was the first president of the Congress, and the first session was attended by the 72 delegates. See, AO, the total name of AO Hume is Alan Octavian Hume. So he was the initiator, he is the founder of the INC. See, at this time, Lord Durfin was the Viceroy of the British India. So at this meeting, at this time, in the year 1885, at that time, the Viceroy of the British India was the Lord Dufferin. So Lord Dufferin was the Viceroy of the British India during that year 1885. So during the session, the Lord Dufferin was the Viceroy of the British India. So at this time, Lord Dufferin was the Viceroy of the British India. Now we'll discuss some of the important meetings and their location and their facts. In the meeting here in the year 1887, it was the INC was, we can say it was in the Madras. That meeting was held in the Madras. Here there are some facts are, here Badruddin Tabiaji is the first Muslim president of the Indian National Congress. So in the year 1897, this meeting was held in the place of Madras, and some facts are at the time Badruddin Tabiaji was the first Muslim president of the Indian National Congress. In the next meeting, 1888, it was held in the Bombay. Here, George Urey was the first English president of the Indian National Congress. So in the year 1907, the INC meeting was held in the Surat. At that time, the president was the Raj Bihari Ghosh. During this time only, during this meeting, the Congress was split into 2 parts, which is called as the extremists and the moderates. So during this meeting, the Congress was split into 2 parts. One is called as the extremists and the moderates. And the next meeting was held in the 1917, the Calcutta. Here basically Annie Besant was the first woman president of the INC. See, the question they can ask you, who is the first woman president of INC, which is Annie Besant. Annie Besant is the first woman president of the INC. In the year 1924, it was held in the Belgaum and Mahatma Gandhi was the president of the INC. So in this meeting, in the year 1924, it was held in the Belgaum. At the time, Mahatma Gandhi was the president of the INC. So he was basically the president of the INC. Then comes the 1925 meeting. It was held in the Kanpur, and the first Indian woman president of INC was the Sarojini Naidu. She is also called as the Nightingale of the India. So first Indian woman president of INC is the Sarojini Naidu. So first Indian woman president of INC is the Sarojini Naidu. Then next comes the 1946. It was held in the meeting was held in the Marriott. It was the last session before the independence of the India. So it is the last session before the independence of the India, and the president was the Acharya J.V. Kriplani. The president was the Acharya J.V. Kriplani. So it is the last session before the independence of India, and the president was the Acharya J.V. Kriplani. The last one, which is 1948, it was held in the Jaipur. The first session after the independence of India. It is the first session after the independence of India, and the president was the Dr. Pattavi Sitaramaiah. The president was the Dr. Pattavi Sitaramaiah. So these are the different types of meetings of INC and their location and their important facts. So I can conclude like this. The first session of the Indian National Congress was held from the 28 to 31 December in the year 1885 at the Bombay under the initiative of the retired civil service officer Alan Octave Hume. So at the time, Umesh Chandra Banerjee was the first president of the INC, and the first session was attended by 72 delegates. A.O. Hume is also called as Alan Octave Hume. At this time, Lord Durfin was the viceroy of the British India. Let me discuss some of the different types of meetings of INC and their location and their facts. In the meeting year 1887, it was held in the Madras. At that time, Badruddin Tabiaji was the first Muslim president of the INC. In the year 1888, the meeting was held in the Bombay. At that time, George Yule was the first English president of the INC. In the year 1907, it was held in the Surat. At that time, the president was the Raj Bihari Ghosh. During that meeting, the Congress was split into two parts. One is called as extremities and another is moderates. In the next meeting, 1917, it was held in the Calcutta. At that time, Annie Besant was the first woman president of the INC. In the year 1925, it was held in the Belgaum, and Mahatma Gandhi was the president of the INC. In the year 1925, it was held in the Kanpur, and the president was the Sarojini Naidu. She is the first Indian woman president of INC, and she is also called as Nightingale of India. In the year 1946, it was held in the Marriott, and it is the last session before the independence of India, and the president was the Acharya J.V. Kriplani. And in the year 1948, it was held in the Jaipur, and it is the first session after the independence of India, and the president was the Dr. Pattavi Sitaramaiah. So now the next question, which is, who was the first recipient of the Bharat Ratna? Is who received the Bharat Ratna for the first time? So we can say first recipient is who are the people who they received the first time the Bharat Ratna. So who are the people who have received the Bharat Ratna for the first time? Which is C.V. Raman, C. Rajagopalachari, and Dr. Radhakrishnan. So these are the three people they have received the Bharat Ratna for the first time. It is C.V. Raman, C. Rajagopalachari, and Dr. Radhakrishnan. So these three are correct solutions. If you keep anyone, you are going to get the marks. So therefore, who was the first recipient of Bharat Ratna is C.V. Raman, C. Rajagopalachari, and Dr. Radhakrishnan. These three people have received the Bharat Ratna for the first time. The first recipient of the Bharat Ratna are the C. Rajagopalachari, Dr. Radhakrishnan, and Sir C.V. Raman. In the year 1954, they have received, all these three people have received the Bharat Ratna in the year 1954. The first recipient of the Bharat Ratna are the C. Rajagopalachari, Dr. Radhakrishnan, and Sir C.V. Raman. These people have retired with this Bharat Ratna in the year 1954. See, let me discuss each and every person in a very detailed manner. C.V. Raman, he is the first scientist to receive the Bharat Ratna in the year 1954. He is an Indian physicist and he discovered the scattering of the light. On the 28th February 1930, he received the Nobel Prize for Physics for the discovery of the Raman effect. So, National Science Day is celebrated in India on the 28th February each year to mark the discovery of the Raman effect. Because on this date only, he received the Nobel Prize. So, to mark this day, we are going to celebrate the National Science Day on this date, which is 28th February. So each year we are going to celebrate on 28th February as the National Science Day on the mark of the Dr. C.V. Raman has achieved this famous Nobel Prize award for this Raman effect. So now we'll discuss something more about the Bharat Ratna award. See, it is the highest civilian award of the Republic of India. It is the highest civilian award of the Republic of India, and it was introduced on the 2nd Jan 1954. So from 2nd Jan 1954 onwards, this award has been given. The first three recipients of Bharat Ratna are the Dr. Rajagopalachari, Radhakrishnan, and the C.V. Raman. The first person to receive the Bharat Ratna award. So out of these three people, the first person who have received is C. Rajagopalachari. So out of these three people, the first person who have received that Bharat Ratna award was the C. Rajagopalachari. And C.V. Raman in the year 1954, the first scientist to receive the Bharat Ratna. So in C.V. Raman in the year 1954, the first scientist to receive the Bharat Ratna award. And the Jawaharlal Nehru in the 1955, the first prime minister to receive the Bharat Ratna. So we can say, who is the first prime minister to receive the Bharat Ratna? Means he is the Jawaharlal Nehru. So Jawaharlal Nehru in the year 1955, he is the person who received the Bharat Ratna. So he is the first prime minister to receive the Bharat Ratna in the year 1955. And Dr. Rajendra Prasad in the year 1962, the first president to receive the Bharat Ratna. So Dr. Rajendra Prasad in the year 1962, he got the Bharat Ratna. So we can say, who is the first president to receive Bharat Ratna? Is Dr. Rajendra Prasad. And Lal Bahadur Shastri in the year 1966, the first person to receive the Bharat Ratna posthumously, means after he passed away, he received the award. So he is the first person to receive Bharat Ratna posthumously. Is Lal Bahadur Shastri in the year 1966. He is the first person to receive the Bharat Ratna posthumously. And the Indira Gandhi in the year 1971, the first woman to receive the Bharat Ratna. So Indira Gandhi in the year 1971, she is the first woman to receive the Bharat Ratna. So Indira Gandhi in the year 1971, she is the first woman to receive the Bharat Ratna. And the Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan in the year 1987 is the first foreigner to receive the Bharat Ratna. He is from Pakistan. So he is the first foreigner to receive the Bharat Ratna. He is the Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan in the year 1987. He is the first foreigner to receive the Bharat Ratna. And Nelson Mandela in the year 1990, he is the second foreigner to receive the Bharat Ratna award. So Nelson Mandela in the year 1990, he is the second foreigner to receive the Bharat Ratna award. Aruna Asif Ali in the year 1997, she is the first woman to receive the Bharat Ratna posthumously. So she is the first woman to receive the Bharat Ratna posthumously, means after she passed away, she received this award. Aruna Asif Ali in the year 1997, the first woman to receive the Bharat Ratna posthumously. And Sachin Tendulkar in 2014, the first sportsperson, she is the first sportsperson and the youngest person to receive the Bharat Ratna. So he is the first sportsperson and is the very youngest person to receive the Bharat Ratna award. The ranks of the awards in India are the first rank goes for the Bharat Ratna, second for the Padma Vibhushan, third for the Padma Bhushan, and fourth for the Padma Shri. So these are the four awards which are given by India, the government of India. The first rank was the Bharat Ratna, second was Padma Vibhushan, third was Padma Bhushan, and the fourth was Padma Shri. So these are the four awards which are given. So this is the rank wise. First for the Bharat Ratna, second for the Padma Vibhushan, third for the Padma Bhushan, and the fourth for the Padma Shri. So finally I can conclude like this. The first recipient of the Bharat Ratna are the C. Rajagopalachari, Dr. Radhakrishnan, and the Sir C.V. Raman. They are all honored in the year 1954. They have received this Bharat Ratna award. So now let me discuss something more about the C.V. Raman. He is the first scientist to receive the Bharat Ratna in the year 1954. He is basically an Indian physicist and also he discovered the scattering of the light. So on the 28th February 1930, he received the Nobel Prize for Physics for the discovery of the Raman effect. So on this day, the National Science Day is celebrated in India on this day, which is 28th February each year to mark the discovery of the Raman effect, because on this day only he has received the Nobel Prize. So on every year 28th February we are going to celebrate the National Science Day to mark the discovery of the Raman effect. And the next one is that we will discuss something more about the Bharat Ratna award. It is the highest civilian award of the Republic of India and it was introduced on the 2nd January 1954. The first three recipients of Bharat Ratna are the C. Rajagopalachari, Dr. Radhakrishnan, and the Sir C.V. Raman. The first person to receive the Bharat Ratna was out of these three, the first person who received is C. Rajagopalachari. And C.V. Raman in the year 1954 is the first scientist, basically the first scientist. The first scientist to receive the Bharat Ratna was the Sir C.V. Raman in the year 1954. Then comes the the Jawaharlal Nehru in the year 1955 is the first Prime Minister to receive the Bharat Ratna. So Jawaharlal Nehru in the year 1955 is the first Prime Minister to receive the Bharat Ratna award. Then comes the Dr. Rajendra Prasad. In the year 1962 he is the first President to receive the Bharat Ratna award. Dr. Rajendra Prasad in the year 1962 he is the first President to receive the Bharat Ratna award. Similarly, Lal Bahadur Shastri in the year 1966 he is the first person to receive the Bharat Ratna posthumously. So Lal Bahadur Shastri in the year 1966 he is the first person to receive the Bharat Ratna posthumously. So Lal Bahadur Shastri in the year 1966 he is the first person to receive the Bharat Ratna posthumously. Then comes the Indira Gandhi in the year 1971. She is the first woman to receive the Bharat Ratna. So Indira Gandhi was the first woman to receive the Bharat Ratna in the year 1971. So Indira Gandhi in the year 1971, she is the first woman to receive the Bharat Ratna. Then comes the Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan in the year 1987. He is the first foreigner to receive the Bharat Ratna and basically is from Pakistan. So Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan in the year 1987, he is the first foreigner to receive the Bharat Ratna and is from Pakistan. Then comes the Nelson Mandela in the year 1990. He is the second foreigner to receive the Bharat Ratna. He is the president of the South Africa. He is the former president of the South Africa. So Nelson Mandela in the year 1990, he is the second foreigner to receive the Bharat Ratna. So Nelson Mandela in the year 1990 is the second foreigner to receive the Bharat Ratna. Then comes the Aruna Asif Ali. In the year 1997, she is the first woman to receive the Bharat Ratna posthumously. Aruna Asif Ali in the year 1997, she is the first woman to receive the Bharat Ratna posthumously. Then comes the Sachin Tendulkar. In the year 2014, he is the first sports person and the youngest person to receive the Bharat Ratna. So Sachin Tendulkar 2014 is the first sports person and the very youngest person to receive the Bharat Ratna. And the ranks of awards in India are the first rank for Bharat Ratna, second for Padma Vibhushan, third for Padma Bhushan and fourth for Padma Shri. The ranks of awards in India are the first for the Bharat Ratna, second for Padma Vibhushan, third for Padma Bhushan and fourth for Padma Shri. So now the next question is, how many banks were nationalized in the year 1969? So on the four options, option A, 14 is the correct solution of this question. So 14 banks have been nationalized in the year 1969. Nationalized means we are converting the private banks to public banks. So nationalized means basically we are converting the private banks to public banks. So in the year 1969, 14 banks have been nationalized by the Indira Gandhi. So now we discuss something more about this one. On July 19th, 1969, during the tenure of Indira Gandhi as Prime Minister, 14 banks having deposits of more than 50 crores were being nationalized. So on July 19th, 1969, during the tenure of Indira Gandhi as the Prime Minister of India, 14 banks having the deposits of more than 50 crores have been nationalized. So which of the banks which are having the deposits more than 50 crores have been nationalized on the July 19, 1969 by the Indira Gandhi. She was the Prime Minister at that time. So therefore on July 19, 1969, during the tenure of Indira Gandhi as the Prime Minister, 14 banks having deposits of more than 50 crores have been nationalized. The government through the banking companies, acquisition and the transfer of undertakings ordinance 1969 and nationalized the 14 largest commercial banks on the 19 July 1969. At that time, Indira Gandhi was both the Prime Minister and also Finance Minister, and she decided to nationalize 14 largest private banks of the country. So we can say that the government through the banking companies, acquisition and transfer of undertakings ordinance 1969 and nationalized the 14 largest commercial banks on the 19 July 1969. At that time, Indira Gandhi was both the Prime Minister and also the Finance Minister of India, and she decided to nationalize the 14 largest private banks of the country. So these are the 14 banks. So now we'll discuss all the 14 banks names also. Allahabad Bank, Canara Bank, United Bank of India, UCO Bank, Syndicate Bank, Indian Overseas Bank, Bank of Baroda, Punjab National Bank, Bank of India, Bank of Maharashtra, Central Bank of India, Indian Bank, Dena Bank and Union Bank. So these are the 14 banks which have been nationalized by the Indira Gandhi at the time in the year 1969 because she was the Prime Minister and also the Finance Minister. So nationalization of banks means the conversion of private assets to public banks. So all the private banks have been converted to public banks on that year by the Indira Gandhi, which are total 14 banks. I have already told all the bank names also I have already discussed. So finally I can say that on July 1969, during the tenure of Indira Gandhi as the Prime Minister, 14 banks having the deposits of more than 50 crores have been nationalized. The government through the banking companies acquisition and transfer of undertakings ordinance 1969 and nationalized the 14 largest commercial banks on the 19 July 1969. At that time, Indira Gandhi was both the Prime Minister and also the Finance Minister, and she decided to nationalize the 14 largest private banks of the country. And these 14 banks names are as follows, which are the Allahabad Bank, Canara Bank, United Bank of India, UCO Bank, Syndicate Bank, and Indian Overseas Bank, Bank of Baroda, Punjab National Bank, Bank of India, Bank of Maharashtra, Central Bank of India, Indian Bank, Dena Bank, and Union Bank. Now, the nationalization of banks means the conversion of private assets into public assets, to public banks. So now the next question is, the first States Reorganization Commission was established in the year of. So first States Reorganization Commission was established in the year of 1953. So basically this was organized by the Jawaharlal Nehru because he wanted to make sure for each and every state there is a particular boundary. So this commission agenda is to make the boundaries for each and every state for easy administration. So the first States Reorganization Commission was established in the year of the 1953. So now we'll discuss something more about this one. The States Reorganization Commission SRC, simply we are going to call it as the SRC. The State Reorganization Commission SRC was a body constituted by the central government of India. In the year 1953, on the 22nd December 1953, to recommend the reorganization of the state boundaries, State Reorganization Commission was consisted of Fazal Ali, K.M. Panikar, H.M. Kunjru. So these are the three people which are there in this commission. So in 1955, after nearly 2 years of study, the commission recommended that India's state boundaries. So recommended that India's state boundaries should be reorganized to form the 14 states and the 6 union territories at that time. And this was debated in the parliament and finally it became effect on the 1st November 1956. So PM Jawaharlal Nehru appointed the first SRC. So Jawaharlal Nehru was a person he was a PM at the time, so he was appointed this first SRC. So Fazal Ali, he was a retired Chief Justice of Supreme Court and he is the head of the first SRC. The first Reorganization Commission was a body constituted by the central government of India on the 22nd December 1953 to recommend the reorganization of the state boundaries. So the State Reorganization Commission was consisted of the Fazal Ali, K.M. Panikar and H.N. Kunjru. In 1955, after nearly 2 years of study, the commission recommended that India's state boundaries should be reorganized to form 14 states and 6 union territories, and this was debated in the parliament and finally it became effect on the 1st November 1956. So PM Jawaharlal Nehru was appointed the first SRC and the Fazal Ali, he was the retired Chief Justice of Supreme Court and he is the head of the first SRC Commission. The borders of the states are inherited from the British India, which were not suitable for easy administration. So it is the duty of the SRC to make sure the borders between the states for easy administration. So this SRC should make the borders of each and every state for easy administration. So the working of the first SRC committee was supervised by the Home Minister Govind Balla Pant. He was the we can say he was Home Minister at that time. It was Govind Balla Pant. The working of the first SRC committee was supervised by the Home Minister Govind Balla Pant. So the State Reorganization Commission came into impact on the 1st November 1956. I have already told this important point. The State Reorganization Commission came into impact on 1st November 1956. Means whatever they have told, it was became effect on the 1st November 1956. So we can say that the State Reorganization Commission SRC was a body constituted by the central government of India on the 22nd December 1953 to recommend the reorganization of the state boundaries. And the State Reorganization Commission, it was constituted of the Fazal Ali, K.M. Panikar and H.N. Kunjru. In 1955, after nearly 2 years of study, the Commission recommended that India's state boundaries should be reorganized to form the 14 states and 6 union territories, and this was debated in the parliament and finally it became effective on the 1st November 1956. So PM Jawaharlal Nehru was appointed the first SRC and the Fazl Ali Khan. He was the dead Chief Justice of Supreme Court and he is the head of the first SRC. Previously, the boundaries of the states are inherited from the British India, which were not suitable for easy administration. So it is the duty of the SRC to make borders between the states for easy administration. And the working of the first SRC committee was supervised by the Home Minister, is Govind Balla Pant. The State Reorganization Commission came into impact on the 1st November 1956. So basically, this came from the 1953 only. So they have told that here we need 40 states with 6 union territories. So whatever they have told, it was debated in the parliament and finally it became effective on the 1st November 1956. So this SRC was appointed by the Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru and it was supervised by the Home Minister Govind Balla Pant at that time. So finally I can say that the State Reorganization Commission SRC was a body constituted by the central government of India on 22nd December 1953 to recommend the reorganization of the state boundaries. State Reorganization Commission consisted of Fazl Ali, K.M. Panikar, H.N. Kunjuru. In 1955, after nearly 2 years of study, the Commission recommended that India's state boundaries should be reorganized to form 40 states and 6 union territories. And this was debated in the Parliament and finally it became effective on the 1st November 1956. PM Jawaharlal Nehru appointed the first SRC and the Fazl Ali Khan. He was the dead Chief Justice of Supreme Court and he is the head of the first SRC, First State Reorganization Commission. So previously the borders of the states are inherited from the British India, which were not suitable for easy administration. So it is the duty of the SRC to make borders between the states for easy administration. The working of the first SRC committee was supervised by the Home Minister Govind Balla Pant and the State Reorganization Commission came into impact on 1st November 1956. So finally I can say that the first States Reorganization Commission was established in the year of 1953. The first States Reorganization Commission was established in the year of 1953. So now we will discuss another question. The Memories of Hyderabad Freedom Struggle book is written by the Swami Ramanand Tirtha. So Memories of Hyderabad Freedom Struggle. This book was written by the Swami Ramanand Tirtha. Memories of Hyderabad Freedom Struggle. This book was written by the Swami Ramanand Tirtha. His original name was Venkaya Bhagyavan Rao Kedigar. So his original name was the Venkatesh Bhagwan Rao Kedigar. So we can say that the Memories of Hyderabad Freedom Struggle book was written by the Swami Ramanand Tirtha. His original name was Venkatesh Bhagwan Rao Kedigar. Swami Ramanand Tirtha fought the Osman Ali Khan. He is the last Nizam. He was the last Nizam. Asaf Jah 7, the Nizam of Hyderabad after the Hyderabad State Congress was established in 1938. So Swami Ramanand Tirtha fought the Osman Ali Khan, Asaf Jah 7, the Nizam of Hyderabad after the Hyderabad State Congress was established in 1938. He participated in the satyagrahas, non-violent resistance campaigns and was imprisoned for 111 days by Osman Ali Khan. He was the last Nizam of Hyderabad. So he participated in satyagrahas, means it's a non-violent resistance campaigns and was imprisoned for 111 days by Osman Ali Khan. He is credited for having created a revolutionary movement to integrate the Hyderabad state with the Indian Union in the 1948. Means he helped the Hyderabad to go into the Indian Union. So therefore, he is credited for having created a revolutionary movement to integrate the Hyderabad state with the Indian Union in the 1948. His ability to galvanize the people in concert with the decisive military victory of the Hyderabad police action is credited with the state's successful integration into the Indian Union. His ability to galvanize the people into concert with the decisive military victory of the Hyderabad police action is credited with the state's successful integration into the Indian Union. Means he helped for the Hyderabad state to get into the Indian Union. See, in English, the book name is the Memories of Hyderabad Freedom Struggle. In Telugu, the book name is the Hyderabad Swatantra Poratam. So, in the English, the book name was the Memories of Hyderabad Freedom Struggle, whereas in the Telugu, the book name was the Hyderabad Swatantra Poratam. And Osman Ali Khan was the last Nizam of the Hyderabad state. And his occupation, the occupation of Swami Ramanand Tirtha he was basically sannyasi. He is also an educator and he is also a freedom fighter. So these are some of the important facts of the Swami Ramanand Tirtha. So Memoirs of Hyderabad Freedom Struggle. This book was written by the Swami Ramanand Tirtha. His original name was the Venkatesh Bhagyavan Rao Kedigar. Swami Ramanand Tirtha fought the Osman Ali Khan, his Asaf Jah 7, the Nizam of the Hyderabad, after the Hyderabad State Congress was established in the 1938. He participated in the Satyagrahas, which are the non-violent resistance campaigns, and was imprisoned for the 111 days by Osman Ali Khan. He is credited for having created a revolutionary movement to integrate the Hyderabad state with the Indian Union in the 1948. His ability to galvanize the people in concert with the decisive military victory of the Hyderabad police action is credited with the state's successful integration into the Indian Union. In English, the book name was the Memoirs of Hyderabad Freedom Struggle. In Telugu, the book name was the Hyderabad Swatantra Poratam. And the Osman Ali Khan was the last Nizam of the Hyderabad state. And the occupation of the Swami Ramanand Tirtha he was basically a sannyasi, he was a dictator, and also he was a freedom fighter. So these are some of the facts of the Swami Ramanand Tirtha. So the Memoirs of Hyderabad Freedom Struggle, this book was written by the Swami Ramanand Tirtha. His original name was the Venkatesh Bhagyavan Rao Kedigar. Swami Ramanand Tirtha fought the Osman Ali Khan, Asaf Jah 7, the Nizam of Hyderabad, after the Hyderabad State Congress was established in 1938. He participated in Satyagrahas, non-violent resistance campaigns, and was imprisoned for 111 days by Osman Ali Khan. He is credited for having created a revolutionary movement to integrate Hyderabad state. He is credited for having created a revolutionary movement to integrate the Hyderabad state with the Indian Union in 1948. His ability to galvanize the people in concert with the decisive military victory of the Hyderabad police action is credited with the state's successful integration into the Indian Union. In English, the book name was the Memoirs of Hyderabad Freedom Struggle. In Telugu, the book name was the Hyderabad Swatantra Poratam. And Osman Ali Khan was the last Nizam of Hyderabad state. And the occupation of the Swami Ramanand Tirtha he was sannyasi, he was a dictator, and also he was a freedom fighter. So now we are going to discuss another question. See the question here. Komaram Bhim, who fought against the Asaf Jah dynasty for the liberation of Hyderabad, he belongs to Gond tribe. He belongs to basically from Gond tribe. So Komaram Bhim, who fought against the Asaf Jah dynasty for the liberation of Hyderabad, and he belongs to the Gond tribe. So Komaram Bhim, who fought against the Asaf Jah dynasty for the liberation of Hyderabad, he belongs to Gond tribe. So now we'll discuss something more about the Komaram Bhim.